Hallelujah, guys. Welcome to another beautiful episode of the Fake Nerd Podcast, episode 205. Hallelujah. Thank you, DC FanDome, for giving us everything we ever wanted with the Snyder Cut. Thank you so much. All of our dreams have come true. Thank you, Zachy D. I love you. Zachy Snyder. I don't want to say D. Hey, guys. I don't mean any of that shit. My name is Ryan Eliopoulos. I'm joined by my best buds in the world, Sparks Whitty.
Hey.
Brandon T. McClure.
Hello.
And Benjamin Magnet, the DC FanDome's biggest fan.
So did you guys hear the secret chord that David played in Please the Lord?
Hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. We'll talk about that in like 7 hours.
Boy,
I knew I recognized that from Watchmen, but I wasn't sure.
Oh, I recognized it like immediately. And I'm like, oh, Zach.
Boy. At first, I thought it was a fake trailer. So
we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
In 2 hours.
So we are talking about DC FanDome for the topic, but we've got a bunch of stuff to get through real quickly before we get into kind of what we did this week. I want to say there are 2 links in the description below that you guys should be looking at. Ryan did his Downright Annoyed.
I did. We talked about Dark City, the director's cut, one of the greatest science fiction movies ever made. And to punish my friends, I picked one of the worst science fiction movies ever made, Gods of Egypt, which is directed by the same person. So you get to see how someone makes the best movie ever made and the worst movie ever made in their same career. And it's just like, it's glorious. It's glorious.
Is the Gods of Egypt the one with Gerard Butler and Jamie Lannister?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As Egyptians? Yeah.
And I also wrote an article for our website that is up right now. That's just about my feelings about the Earth One line that DC has been putting out for the past 11 years.
I did not realize, because I read your article because I was curious about Earth One. I did not realize that first book came out that long ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's been
It doesn't feel like that this long, but they really are. They're not really. They're like, it comes out when it comes out. Who cares? I'm like,
right.
Yeah, about right.
So that article is down there. And if Ben gets his article up tonight, that'll be in the description below as well. Take a look, see if it's there. Who knows? And
I continue to have nothing for you.
It's okay. You're just, you're reading comics. You're having a good time.
I'm existing.
There was another thing that I
Isn't
wanted
that
to bring
what
up.
we're all doing right now, Sparks?
Yeah.
There was another thing I wanted to bring up, but I totally forgot what it was. So who wants to get into their week first?
I'll go first because it's another banger of a week, you guys. Let's just talk about the comics I read because that's basically mostly what I did. So we're all reading a bunch of X-Men comics. I read Wolverine and Cable. Did you guys read Wolverine and Cable this week?
Yes.
Those are the only 2 I didn't read this week.
Shame, because both stellar books. What else came out? Empire X-Men came out this week. That was a fantastic finale to that book. Emotionally impactful in a way I didn't expect. I love it. Yeah. Bringing characters from other books that have never been introduced in the 616 into this book. Very cool. I love that book.
I would go so far as to say that's probably the best event tie-in I've read in years.
It's so fun. Like, it's just like it's aliens and zombies fighting each other. Like,
I was wondering if they were going to do the whole thing with the zombie meeting the dude. I was wondering if they were going to do that. If they were had the foresight to know that this person is resurrected on Krakoa, what would that be like? And they did it. Right? And I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah. And I can't believe that the whole concept basically came from someone in the X-Men writers' room being told they needed to make an Empire tie-in, and they were playing Plants vs. Zombies on their phone, and then they just went, "I have an idea."
So I told him this in the comic store, but the way that this 4-issue Empire tie-in was written, every 10 pages they would pass it to another writer without telling them what they were doing with the story. So it was just 10 pages of build up until you have Ileana becoming a demon lord, and then just it keeps getting bigger. And like the event's over, and Ileana's still this demon lord. She's like, "I'm gonna rule the world," and then never mind, back to normal. And I'm like, "Oh my god, comics are so fun." X-Men is great. I'm loving all of it. There's a new Vault comic called Shadow Service coming that just came out. It's about a witch private investigator. It's about a world of magic, and this lady is a private investigator while also being a witch. Like Jessica Jones meets like magic shit. It's really cool. I definitely recommend checking that out if you want a new #1. Besides that, I don't think I did much with you. If we did, I'll talk about it. You'll talk about it. The DC FanDome got me in the mood for the Batman, because you know what? Batman's pretty cool, you guys. So a couple weeks ago, I downloaded all of the Arkham Knight DLC that I never played. And there's 2 years of really good DLC that they put out for that game that I never touched. So there's all these AR missions, which are just combat challenges. I love combat challenges. And then there's the like Arkham episodes, which there's 5 actual story missions of like Batgirl, Harley Quinn, Dick, Robin, and Red Hood. And they're like 2 to 3 hours of just like story before, during, and after Arkham Knight. And those are all really well made. I only played the Batgirl one, and I got kind of into the Harley one. But they all play differently, and they're all fun. The problem is I haven't played Arkham Knight in 5 years. And they don't give you a tutorial in those DLC things. And they already start you with the hard enemies. So the first encounter, I have dudes with the blue things and the red things and the yellow things. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I died immediately. Because that's some hard-ass combat. You got to do the blocks and the parries and the misses. And I got it, and I got back into it. It feels great. I'm really excited for that Gotham Knights game. We'll talk about it later. But like that stuff in Arkham Knight, where there's dual takedowns and dual playing as characters, you play as multiple characters. That stuff is excellent.
So in the one of the DLCs, I forget what it was called, but it adds levels to the main game with Killer Croc, Mad Hatter.
Season of Infamy. So that is that's in the main game. So I think I'm actually going to replay the whole main game again because it adds it to the regular story intertwined. So I kind of have to play the game again to get that started.
You can start it. You can start it now. If you went in and start from the end of the game before you did Nightfall, you can still play those levels.
My save was deleted. I have to start a new game.
Never mind.
Yeah, no, I was going to do that, but also like the combat is so fun, and like I'm just really feeling a Batman game, and I'm not getting one for a year, so I'll probably just replay it again. Because man, that still looks great. That's still like a good looking PS4 game.
When I'm past Last of Us, there may be a time where I decide to go back through the Arkham trilogy.
Yeah, I played Asylum and City a lot. I played both of those games multiple times, and Arkham Knight I only played once, so I don't feel as bad going back into this one because it's not as fresh. But yeah, man, like that DC fandom really got me in the mood for some Batman, and there's a lot of good Batman stuff out.
Yeah, man.
I think that's it besides the downright nerdy thing, and I don't even know if I did anything, to be honestly. That's me.
I'll go next. I didn't have a lot to contribute this week. I did play the Avengers beta just a bit. I just played the first mission. That's all I could get through.
Did you beat just to beat the first story, or like you played all the characters? Okay.
Yeah.
You played up through like A Day, but not the part in the next part of the story where you take over Hulk and Kamala, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 30 minutes, yeah.
I started that, but I didn't finish it because we had a birthday to get to today, and so I just didn't get there. I really quickly want to talk about my thoughts. I had a lot more fun with it than I thought I would.
Just like, why don't you play it more with us? Because it's actually fun.
I found the only character I just didn't enjoy playing was Iron Man. Everyone else I had a really good time with.
That's only because that one section it's on a camera. You're not actually playing as Iron Man. Once you actually play as him, he's my favorite. He's great.
I think this is a good time to talk about it because Ben's going to bring it up too. I was talking to Ben about it while Ben was doing the solo campaign earlier today. I was doing some side beta missions while he was doing it. And I was telling Ben, because Ben's like, man, because he got to the part past A-Day and he was playing Hulk. And he's like, I don't really love Hulk's jump. And I'm like, you got to run. You got to run and jump. And I explained how you have to run in the game because they don't tell you in the beta. And that's what sucks is once you get far enough, the end of the beta before the multiplayer stuff is actually opened up to is the harm room where it teaches you how to play. And I'm like, this is bad beta construction.
It's 2 hours into the beta before you get tutorials.
Because then I'm like, oh, I know how to play Iron Man now.
Yeah.
I know how to play all the characters now.
There's parries and there's shield stuff that they don't teach you in that first mission. That you have, like, you aren't going to be a good player. Like, once you get to difficult stuff, you have to be more tactical. Like, it's a lot more tactical game than people are giving it credit for, including me. Because, like, I watch some videos of people who are, like, level 50. There's not that much content in the beta, but people are playing this beta like it's crazy, right? So people are getting, like, level 50, and the combos I'm seeing are, like, I didn't know that was even possible. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Iron Man is straight up doing, like, Devil May Cry combos in the air where, like, he shoots, punches guy in the air, flies towards him, punches him, knocks him to the ground. I'm like, that's great. I want that. Just the beta doesn't give you that initially.
Right. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing as Thor. I thought he was a little clunky, but I did enjoy it after I kind of got the hang of it. Black Widow, Hulk, and especially Captain America. I had a really good time with playing.
That's what Batman comes.
And now I gotta say, to those of you saying that Captain America is dead, they wouldn't build an entire character model with a completely different fighting technique just to kill him.
they wouldn't show you.
He's so obviously not.
They wouldn't
not
show
dead.
you 10 alternate costumes that you can purchase if that character.
Exactly.
Was
in defense of the game, I don't think they've ever tried to tell you that Captain America is like dead.
It's just the incident.
I don't think they've been trying to trick you into that. They're just the Avengers believe he's dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's definitely going to show up probably at the end or midway through. Yeah.
I'd say midway.
Yeah.
I would say 1/3, maybe.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, for Captain America, they're. I mean, that's gonna fill out the roster. Either a third or halfway through the game, he's gonna be a playable character.
This game also looks like it's going to be a lot longer than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah.
By a decent margin. Ben, share some of your thoughts from the beta since we're talking.
So I enjoyed the beta for the most. There were parts of it like at first because my bias, or not my bias, but my little dislike of playing as Hulk actually came through the 8A sequence where you had to jump on the trailers and it was like those jumping parts. But
I had a really good time with those, honestly.
I mean, at first I'm like, okay, this is cool, but then there was this one jump for some reason I just couldn't land because I didn't know where I could land and where I couldn't land.
I know exactly what you mean. That did happen once. Yeah.
And I just kept falling through
the problem is you didn't know how to run.
Exactly, yeah. And then
later I had the same problem, so.
Yeah, and then later on, Sparks and I were on a voice chat party, and and he told me how to run. I was like, oh no, John Hulk is actually pretty fun, and the boss fight with Abomination was actually pretty fun. I had a really
Taskmaster and A-Bomb, like that's what I'm excited for. Like I love Taskmaster, and fighting him is cool because like he just like that Spider-Man fight, he learns your abilities, so you can't keep doing the same moves. That A-Bomb fight turns really cool, where he's exploding radiation. You can't get near him too much. Like it's cool stuff.
Like the only part where I was like really like sitting there just like shaking my hands like, yeah, this is a beta, Ben. This is a beta. They're probably gonna fix it. Is during the Captain America fight scene because I was having a fun time playing as Captain America, but when the dudes with the shields came out, there was a prompt saying hold L and circle so you can vault over, and I'm like, I was doing that, but I kept dodging instead of vaulting over. So I'm like, how the frack do I?
So you have to hold circle to go over them, not press it.
No, I was holding it.
Okay. You have to do the directional like on the like you press up.
Once I realized how to do it, like you have to like go right into the shield to get to start it. I was like, okay. I just felt because I was trying to try and vault over to these shield guys and not like shield like dudes holding shields.
Yeah.
To try.
My only complaint about Captain America is that you just can't free throw the shield.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Every character has a left trigger, right trigger throw ability.
Yeah.
I tried a couple times. It wouldn't let me, but I probably just did it wrong if that's the case.
And I wouldn't be surprised if like parts of the beta just like screwed up because I've had that problem. Brian's had that problem.
So I've played
where we've tried to do things and all of a sudden it's like that didn't go the way it's supposed to.
I played that opening 3 times, right? The first time on PS4 was completely broken. It was a beta. Every 5 seconds, the game would chug or freeze. And that was the stuff we recorded for the podcast. So I had to delete my save and restart because it was unplayable. And the second time, it was great. I did it again on my PC because my PC is much better than my PS4. That game looks stunning. Also, the beta runs like shit because it's a beta, and that's unfortunate. That's my biggest fear is that there's going to be millions of people playing this game at launch, and if the game runs like it does now, that's a serious problem.
There was
in 2 weeks.
There was one major glitch that I encountered in my playthrough that I had to restart a checkpoint. Is right after I went from Hulk, I took control of Iron Man, and Iron Man did like his big arc reactor blast, and then Maria Hill pops up and says Avengers. Except now the gameplay was working fine. The audio, on the other hand, kept clipping. It was like a broken record, and all you could hear Maria say was avenge, 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 over and over and over again.
All the time for me too, Bennett. Yeah.
If you watch our multiplayer beta, there's a part where we're doing a mission for Maria Hill, and at the end we beat the guys, and then we're just wandering around the room because the game doesn't actually go on to the next part. It acts like there's still enemies in the room, but there's no enemies
it's a beta.
anywhere.
It doesn't trigger the. Oh wow.
It doesn't trigger. Yeah. So I replayed that by myself, and literally as soon as you beat that guy, the mission ends. So we walked around for 10 minutes, and that mission should have been over. Like it's a beta.
I mean, like you guys said, it was a beta, and I knew I was playing a beta. It's not done yet, but I really hope that they do fix it because I was having a good time. Like I really enjoyed playing as Thor. Once I got the hang of Hulk, I really enjoyed playing Hulk, and Kamala was actually really fun to play as.
Kamala's dope, dude.
I never got the chance to play as Kamala.
I think you're really gonna like her, Brandon. Kamala is my highest level in the beta. When I was playing earlier today, I gave her a whole lot of new combos, and she has so much variety in the way she can use her moves. I'm wildly entertained by it. I think that the game has problems, but overall, I think that the game's potential for cool combos and the way you get to use the characters your way, your choice, matters a lot and plays really well.
Doing the thunderclap when you're the Hulk was just so satisfying. And even when I first started playing the beta as Thor, there's like, hey, you can throw Mjolnir, but you have to hit L2 to summon Mjolnir back. So I'm thinking, So I threw it, I punched a guy, and then I summoned it back, and it knocked another guy out. I'm like,
leave the hammer. Yeah,
that's freaking fun. Yeah. That is cool.
God of War, you could throw it, you could leave it behind for minutes. Because I replayed that you don't play Thor for a couple minutes, but like when you throw it, I left it there and I beat all the dudes, and I was just like, will it come back to me if I don't do anything? Nope. You got to call it back. I'm like, hell yeah, great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. I think that the multiplayer experience will be really fun for you guys when you're able to get to it. I think that you guys will really enjoy it. I think it's something that we could all enjoy playing together, for sure. I will say, like, another cool like combo thing that I got with Hulk earlier today was, you know how he does like the charge smash? I upgraded that thing 2 more times, which leads to, if you hit triangle multiple times after that first charge smash, you just pound the shit out of all that's around you for a long time.
Did I talk about the pin particle stuff on the podcast?
No, you did not.
Okay, so I talked to him about this. Again, one of the cool things, like, you have to get further into the game to know, if you equip enough PIM technology, like gear that has PIM tech, your enemies shrink. So I was doing the hardest harm room challenge, and I just got a bunch of new stuff, and I was punching a robot, and a little meter's building up with a little PIM particle thing, and I beat him, and it goes zoop, and he shrinks to like 25% the size, and I'm like, oh, like Hulk has this radiation thing where, like, if you hit him with enough radiation, they'll bleed radiation damage. Like, all those characters have stuff, and there's a lot of depth. It's just, you can't show that stuff in the beta because it's the early game. A lot of the stuff is like late game stuff, and they can't show you that because then there wouldn't be much of a game if there's not much in between. I think this was a smart way to do the beta. I think more people are excited than before this. I know at least most of us are. We'll see. I think it's gonna. The launch might be rough. Most of these live service games are rough, but the thing is, it is a live service game. It's gonna be supported for years. In a year from now, we're gonna have like 5 new heroes.
And the nice thing is, like, you always have the choice of going at it without engaging the online, without engaging the live service.
You can just do it
solo stuff. Your characters, your team, your way. And you do not have to engage with the multiplayer. You only have to engage with it if you want to play with your friends or whatever.
And if you do it all
that actually sold me on a game we'll talk about a little later.
Cool. If you do it solo, all the level stuff with your character, like, those characters come into your single player game too. So it's not just like a random Hulk. It's the Hulk that you've been leveling up. So it's not just random. Yeah. So, like, it seems like, hey, if you want to do the solo, like, it's a multiplayer game, but you can totally do it solo. It's totally fine. It's just like, I definitely want to play with some friends because I know a live service game gets kind of boring after a while.
Well, let's be clear. Some parts of it are solo. Some parts of it are designed where you cannot invite.
Yeah, like the beginning of this game, like, there are specific solo missions that you have to play by yourself. But this is made to be multiplayer. It's supposed to be going for years. Let's hope it's good. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm still 100% sold on it, but I did enjoy it. I'm probably gonna wait a little while after once more reviews get in. And if, like, the reception is still good on it, then I'll probably save up some money and get it.
I don't think, even though Ryan and I pre-ordered it, I don't think either of us are going to, like, dive deep into it in week 1 or week 2.
Because I don't want to get rid of all the content immediately. Because I did that with Destiny, and I beat that game in a week. I can't do that.
Me personally, like, if you guys are going to be interested, I'm cool with, like, kind of battering around with it, but not doing a whole bunch until you guys are ready.
Like we do Dead by Daylight, we just play together every once. Yeah.
Anyway,
so
Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah, so I did this last week, but I totally forgot to talk about it, and I feel bad about that. I watched the remake of Fright Night again last week. I hadn't seen that movie in quite a while, probably since theaters, but I recently bought it on DVD, and I decided to pop it in.
We watched that last October.
For our Halloween thing.
Yeah.
We watched both of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that movie is awesome. I think that movie is really good. This is Anton Yelchin, David Tennant,
Farrell,
Imogen Poots, and Toni Collette.
Hell yeah, Tony.
Toni Collette. And it sucks that David Tennant didn't get, like, a fun little movie star role out of that. Not like a big A-list star, but, like, more movies would have been fun. after that role because he's really good in it.
I honestly wish that they had done like the true proper sequel, not the straight to DVD thing they did, but a true proper sequel that brought back Anton and David Tennant.
Yeah,
because Fright Night Part 2, the original, is really cool.
Isn't it like the vampire's wife?
It's his sister.
His sister.
It's the vampire's sister, and she recruits a team with like a werewolf and like a necromancer on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, this is dope. And she's like specifically targeting him now. It's good.
Fright Night could work as a TV show, I think.
Fright Night could work as a TV show, for sure.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a cool franchise.
And speaking of cool franchises, I finished Saw 4, 5, 6, 7, and Jigsaw. I have now seen all of the Saw movies. I am ready for Spiral. Bring it on.
Saw.
None of those movies are 2 hours long, right? They're all pretty short, right?
Oh, pretty short.
Okay, I remember. I'm hoping they never got into like crazy territory. Like this one's now 3 hours.
No, so the final film, not Jigsaw, what was Saw 3D, now exists as Saw the Final Chapter, which is Saw 7, was supposed to be a part 1 and a part 2, as this like finale to the Jigsaw saga that the writers have been building since 4, because there were new writers after Lee Winnell left, and they wrote all the movies after. Right. So you can definitely tell, because the way Saw 7 ends with the whole like, actually Cary Elwes has been there the whole time, even though he hasn't been in these movies since 1. So
Ben, the guy who escapes getting killed at the end of 1 turns out to be the villain for the whole franchise, and for me fucks that whole thing. That is such a out of left field, like, wow, this is such a twist, huh? I'm like, I'm lost.
It ruins the first movie.
It ruins that first movie a lot, and I like that. That first movie is excellent.
First movie's great.
But that's how I feel though.
So at the end of 3, the replacement Jigsaw is dead, and Jigsaw is dead, and that's the end of 3. And then 4 pops in, and
you got that detective guy.
4 reveals that the detective from the last 2 movies is actually one of Jigsaw's accomplices.
Yep.
And he's going and now it's just him until 7. And then when it's revealed that Cary Elwes was responsible for the whole thing the whole time.
The guys who came in for Saw 4 clearly wanted to make Jigsaw a Batman villain.
Yeah.
And so like one of the weirdest things about 4 is that 4 actually takes place during 3, but it doesn't make any sense if it does, because then it just complicates Jigsaw's plan wildly out of control.
Again, it ruins that first movie's like central premise of like this dude's trying to make people understand that they've done some bad shit in their life, and maybe he's not doing the best thing either. But like it's hey Mag, it's like a morality play, like the worst type. And the further you get, it just becomes gore. Like it loses any type of premise or like reason that this was happening.
That was at a point when nobody who makes horror sequels gave a crap about like logic or continuity or sense. They're just trying to go scarier and bigger and grosser.
But here's the thing about Saw, is that it actually is continuity obsessed, because they are like damn sure going to fill everything.
It's Fast and Furious 4, for real.
Right. It's like, what was that envelope? So like the Amanda gets an envelope in 3 and she starts crying, and you're like, oh, it's probably from Jigsaw and blah blah blah. And then 4, you revealed that actually that letter was written by Hoffman, Detective Hoffman from the 3rd movie, and that's why she cried. And then in 5, you found out what the letter actually says.
It's a lot of retconning to just fit whatever they want to do at the moment.
Yeah.
And hey, man, it has its fans, but like,
and my girlfriend is one of them, and she loves them.
Yeah. And then, man, like, those kills again, like those Saw kills, they're all still dope. Like they're all still really inventive, especially the 3D one. That stuff's really fun. But like the story, I don't care anymore.
The issue with the Saw films is we stopped caring about the people in the traps.
Yes.
They ended up becoming the B plot, and so you don't care because they're not characters we care to follow, which they are in 1 and 2 at least. And then 6 all of a sudden remembers like, oh shit, we're supposed to care about these people. So then 6 kind of tries to rectify that, and then 7 again tries to rectify that. Now Jigsaw, the reboot, or the
What is it? What is it? What is it considered? Because that's the one I haven't seen.
It is considered a reboot in the same way that Jurassic World is, Force Awakens is. Like, you're restarting the franchise with a new installment. It was supposed to launch a new franchise. However, the twist in that movie is that this other guy was also a Jigsaw informant from before the first movie.
No, that's weird. That's so bad. I hate that. So bad.
And they did that because they didn't bring in anybody from the previous films.
That's so bad.
And so he was supposed to be, that guy was going to be the new Jigsaw, going to do another, and then they were going to do more. So I'm like, you know what? Honestly, that would have been all right if I hadn't seen that same twist 3 movies ago.
That's unfortunate. And then Spiral.
I know. I'm so excited for Spiral now. I hope it's good. I hope it's as good as the first one.
I don't remember that trailer at all. Do we know? Is this taking place after all those movies?
Yeah,
do we
it's
know
after.
That? Okay, it is for sure.
Yeah.
I thought it would be really interesting if it was like a side story of like it happened during the first movies,
right? And
it's just some detective going like, "What the fuck is all this? This is crazy!" But no, it doesn't sound that interesting.
Now, Carrie Ellis being an accomplice to Jigsaw the whole time, it would have actually worked if they had set it up at least a movie ago. Yes. At least before the reveal. But they didn't, because Carrie Ellis hasn't been in the movie since 1.
So, Brandon, there's a fantastic YouTube video where this guy interviews all the people from Saw about the stuff from the movies, and not a single actor can remember anything from any of the movies, showing that none of them know what they're doing or care at all. You should look it up, because it's Carrie Elwes never getting a single thing right about any of his character stuff, and it's just like, oh, wow, that's a paycheck, all right.
Great. I really hope Carrie Elwes is in Spiral, especially because Jigsaw would have also worked if it was like Carrie Elwes was the villain. I called the twist coming like halfway through the movie though. But then so that would have worked. But then Carrie Elwes being in Spiral would just be really cool, because it's like, oh, there's a cult of Jigsaw, and that'd be interesting.
That could redeem Carrie Elwes' story. If he's in this new one, I'll allow it.
Yeah. That's all I did this week. I was just watching Jigsaw movies. I got a lot to say about Jigsaw, guys. Got a lot to say about the Saw movies. Yeah. Anyway, that's all from me.
Was that first one James Wan directed?
Yeah. It's really good.
Man, what a good guy.
Yeah, I like the movie a whole lot. Especially considering how bad the sequels are.
Yeah.
Who's next? Ben, I guess it's here.
I guess me. I have been voted to go next. So I went back to work, a full week of work this week, so I wasn't able to do hardly any of the stuff I was when I was under quarantine. So like no Animal Crossing, very little video games. But what I did manage to knock out, I was able to finish all of Umbrella Academy, so I'm completely 100% caught up. So woot woot for that. We're going to do a Fake Nerds watch, so I'm prepared, ready to go. And on Wednesday, and also been watching more of Legend of Korra. Fan and I are on episode 6.
Real quickly, Ben, you said Fake Nerds Watch. We have a Lovecraft Country Fake Nerds Watch up right now for the first episode. That is up now. You can check that out on this channel.
Bring it up if it didn't come up before then, but yeah.
Yes, we have that up. Check that out.
That's right.
That's a great show. It's a
episode
great show.
2 came out today.
Yep. Anyway, sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
No. So, we're on season 2 of Legend of Korra. We're about halfway through. Still not the same.
How do you feel about blood bending?
Yeah. No, that's actually more season 1, but blood bend.
No, because you finished season 1. I mean, sorry.
Oh yeah. God, but yeah, Legend of Korra. I'm loving it. Fanny's enjoying it. It's one of my favorite things is that we're watching this and Fanny's asking me questions. Same with when we were watching Avatar: Last Airbender, and she's like, "Hey, what happens there?" I'm like, "Can't tell you. It's a spoiler." And Brandon left.
Bye, Brandon.
He'll come back.
He'll be back.
Yeah, it's probably just an internet thing on his end. But yeah, so
who's the villain right now? Welcome back, Brandon. Who's the villain of season 2? I forget.
Sparks, you're on season 2, right?
I finished season 2.
Okay, yeah, it's Korra's uncle, the chieftain of the Northern Water Tribe.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys not disconnect at all?
No, it was just you.
Cool. Whatever.
What else?
What else?
What else? Ben?
what was I gonna say? Yeah, so Korra, halfway through, it's awesome. I love it. Fanny's enjoying it, which makes me happy. On Wednesday, another show, because I was trying to jump between Umbrella Academy, Korra, and a Netflix documentary series that just dropped on Wednesday called High Score.
I want to watch it so bad, man. Tell me it's
which
good.
Is all about, it's good. It's good. And actually, it ends at an era of video gaming that I didn't think it was going to end.
I saw the episode title, so I think I know what it is.
Yeah, you think you know what it is?
I think because I looked through. It's 10 episodes, right?
6 actually.
6? Oh, 6. Okay, it's fighting games, right?
No, it's not.
Oh, just kidding. Never mind. I'm a liar.
You're
Damn it, Ryan, get off the podcast.
But the thing I actually do enjoy about High Score is that, I mean, they go through the big notions. One of the biggest omissions that they didn't talk about was the Magnavox Odyssey. Because even though that's widely considered in the retro video game community as like the first console, that's not the first true home console ever made. Because if you brought home a Magnavox Odyssey back in 1973 or early 70s, if you brought that home, it also came with peripherals that you would have to put on the screen. So it was like, hey, let's play the hockey game. You have to get the hockey screen and put it on your TV, which would stick to it stat clean.
I know what you're talking about.
And other games that you had to use along with it. So even though it's technically a video game system, it wasn't really a video game system. Pong either, because Pong just had the one thing. The first ever true video game console was the Fairchild Channel F. And that was also due to the fact that, I had his name committed to memory. It's the gentleman who first created video game cartridges, and it's Jerry Lawson. And he's also a person of note because he's also an African-American engineer. And he's the first one to create video game cartridges for the Fairchild Channel, for the Channel F. But the thing with the Channel F is that it failed because their parent company had no idea what to do in the video game market, whereas because Atari came out a few months after it, and they had the 2600, and that flew off the shelves due to name recognition and essentially better games, whereas Fairchild didn't know what to do with it, and unfortunately, Jerry Lawson's story was lost to history until recently, because they actually bring his family, his son, his daughter, and his grandson onto the show, and they show a Channel F console. So they're giving him his due. And he straight up says, like, yeah, after Atari and after Fairchild went under, that story went by the wayside, because even though he is a father of modern video games, because we would not have cartridges without Jerry Lawson. And I thought that was a really good thing. And throughout the show, they also mentioned some other neat little tidbits that I never realized. Like, I never knew that it wasn't until Sega Genesis's Madden Football 1995 edition where the players, you actually had black players. Because beforehand, they're all white. Because there was reason why is it was due to the limitations of the technology at the time. All the players had to be one skin tone. Madden 95 changed that, so now you have African-American players as well as white players.
That's dope. That's in the documentary, like they say that? That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
So, that Fairchild, Ben, came out in 1976. Mm-hmm. It cost $196. Today, that would cost $885.
I still remember... Okay, so fun little fact. When I was, I went to Frankenstein's as well on Saturday, and Adam and I were just looking. Also, I caught up on, I didn't catch up. I got all the X-Force books I was missing, so now I have a complete X-Force collection up to today. And when we were looking around, one of the video game booths that we like had a Neo Geo console. They're selling it for $1,500. Yeah.
Bro, I can play that for free on my computer. Don't do that.
I know you can't, but this was an actual SNK Neo Geo console they had. And I was talking to Adam because I was like, yeah, I mean, well, now of course it's worth $1,500 because it's a rare console. Hardly anyone has it. It's something that diehard collectors go and nab. But then I just keep on remembering what Brandon said when, due to inflation, how much that console would have cost back in the 90s.
Yeah.
But yeah, also keeping on to the High Score, something that gave me a little bit of a spirit boost, if you will, was that I tweeted about it. I tagged the narrator, who's also the voice of Mario, Charles Martinet. He liked and responded to my tweet, and then I sent him another tweet, and he liked that one. So I was like, Charles Martinet liked my stuff, yay! So that gave me a little boost of confidence.
is super dope because back when Vine was the thing, he had a Vine and he would carry Mario and Luigi figures around and just make Vines of Mario and Luigi talking. And just everywhere he went, and it's like, oh, would you like some linguine? Just doing that all the time, and it's just like, thanks, bro.
Yeah, even though he's as famous, he is the voice of Mario, but he's also the voice of Luigi, Wario. He did Donkey Kong for a few years. He's
a Mario people.
Wait. Who's Luigi? All I know is Green Mario.
I'll get you a book.
Green Tall Mario, thank you.
Vegetarian Mario.
You've seen that comic book, right? Where it's just like, Mama, why don't you ever remember my name? I'm Masonically Mario.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so if you love video game history just as much as I do, it's also a really, really fun documentary that doesn't just dive into how games were made or how games impacted people's lives. It also gave you insight to how the Nintendo World Championship ran back in 1990, how the Sega rocked the
Wizard.
Well, I mean, they mention esports, but they really don't mention Blizzard at all.
No, the Wizard, the movie, because Super Mario 3 was.
They actually don't mention the Wizard.
They should. That's hilarious. There's this 90s movie called The Wizard starring the kid from Fred Savage, and it's a bad movie, but it's about him competing at this Nintendo tournament. The movie was product placement for Super Mario Brothers 3, or Super Mario World or whatever.
Super Mario Bros. 3, you're right.
Yeah. So the movie introduced the game trailer. It was a movie that gave us.
And not only that, it wasn't just for Super Mario Bros. 3. It was also a way for Nintendo to show off the Power Glove.
Oh, the Power Glove! It's so bad.
Yeah, because he was and because the Power Glove really was bad. It was an god awful peripheral.
The Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, that kind of is like the thing. Although if I ever see a Power Glove in the wild, I'm gonna ask to try it on. I'm taking a picture with it because I've never seen a Power Glove live before. Only on.
No man, that thing is so cool. And if it only worked, because that is like, yo, dude, hell yeah, Master Chief, whatever. That would be so cool.
Nintendo tried motion controls way back in the 80s and early 90s until the Wii came out, and that was long later. But yeah, high score. It's only 6 episodes. Each episode's about 45 minutes long. It's really fun. It's a fun ROM just to like, oh, hey, that's cool. And then it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. So I would highly, highly recommend it. It's really fun. And I know it's a limited series. I hope they do more because where they end, it's like you have so much more content to do with video game history to get up to like current games.
Ben, does it go from like 1970 to 1990? Yes. Okay, good. I can absolutely.
It goes from the second generation up to I want to say the 5th, which I think that's the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, they can definitely have another season.
Yeah, I hope they do. Because there's so much more to go. I don't want to spoil about what exactly happens, but it's a really fun show. Highly recommend it. I'm gonna write a article about it. Hopefully, it's gonna go up tonight. And
like Lucas' quote from The Wizard.
I think Lucas is the guy who does the Power Glove quote. He's like, I love the Power Glove.
It's so bad.
It's a really bad quote. Yeah. That's a classic.
Fun fact, they do mention Monsters and Mazes, which was the anti-Dungeons & Dragons movie that has Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
They mention that in their RPG episode, and I'm like, what?
That movie is great because it came out before Tom Cruise was famous, and then they repurposed it with a DVD. Tom Hanks, sorry. They repurposed it with a DVD that has Tom Hanks huge on the cover, and he's just like one of the characters in it. He's not the main character, but it's like Tom Hanks in this D&D movie, and I'm like, actually, it's a religiously funded anti-D&D movie about God. Tom Hanks. No.
I would still like to watch that movie just for hilarity's sake.
Yeah.
But yeah, high score. They mentioned the big ones that a lot of people know. They also mentioned stuff that not a lot of people do know. They put limelights onto certain games that should have gotten the limelight. I was enthralled. I was taking notes the entire time. There are times where it was really hard for me because I wanted to just keep watching. I had to rewind so I can get the names right. Excellent miniseries. Definitely give it a watch.
Hell yeah. Is that it?
And what else did I do?
My internet has decided to be bad today.
Oh. Let's see. Now the game. Played some Bloodborne. Played some Avengers. Yeah, that's about it.
Dead by Daylight with your homies.
Did I play Daylight? No, I didn't. I wasn't able to play that.
Not this week.
We did.
Sparks?
Yeah, okay. Brandon missed a couple things. He also watched a movie with me called The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
Yeah.
It was better than I thought it would be. We also watched The God of High School, Brandon.
Oh yes, we did. I'm new to that.
On The God of High School.
Is that the anime?
Yes.
Are you in on Anime Night, Brandon?
He is.
Hell yeah,
so.
baby.
Yeah.
I approve.
God of High School is really cool. The animation is... Brandon, how would you describe the animation?
Awesome.
Yeah. It's crackle-lacking.
I really like the animation.
What? Cocoa-lacking?
No.
I was talking to you about, like, this is the type of animation I like to see in anime, not whatever they did with Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly. God of High School is really cool. It's a Korean-made anime, but it is essentially, it seems, though I have not confirmed this with anything, but to me it seems like this is very much, and to other people online, that this is an adaptation, a modern adaptation and interpretation of Journey to the West.
Hell yeah.
Which is the tale of the Monkey King, which we're actually going to talk about more later in the episode, which is a Chinese tale. But it's really good. So obviously, Dragon Ball being what it is, the main character is very modern, similar to Goku. This is, to me, this is what Dragon Ball Evolution should have been. At this moment in time, that's what I'd say. This is how you do Goku Goes to High School right.
Evolution.
Yeah. We did watch Lovecraft Country, Ryan and I, and we talked about it on Fake Nerds Watch with Brandon.
Just real quick. Excellent show.
Yeah.
Please, if you can watch it, please support this show.
Yeah, please be
support
watching
this
it.
show.
Please go watch us talk about it. So I'm not going to say anything more here. Go watch it. I read comics. I read X-Men. We covered X-Men. I read all the Empire stuff that came out this week, so I'm completely caught up. That event continues to impress me. The Swordsman one shot was really, really good.
I just want to talk about it real quick. I forget the writer's name. I apologize. His name's like Alex Pankerndell. He's got an interesting last name, but he wrote the Celestial Messiah tie-in and the Swordsman tie-in, and the Swordsman is the father of the Celestial Messiah. This event, Empire, is all about Koi, the
Alex Packnadell.
Packnadell, thank you. It's all about Koi, who is this plant guy being destined to be like the leader of this civilization. But also there's Doric, who is Hulkling, who is also destined to be the Emperor of Space. So you have these conflicting emperors, but also like conflicting ideologies. But what makes it so interesting is, like, especially that Swordsman, man, that stuff is so good.
Yes.
It's about this character who was once human and is now an alien, and the alien is fighting his humanity. Because, like, he's a dude torn between his people and who he naturally is as a human being. And how that leads him to become a villain, it's just so sad. It's so sad, and it's so real, and it's so beautifully written. And it's about a dad trying to save his son. But at the end, like, he turns his son into a villain in a way. Like, man, this Empire just continues to rule. It rules. And one day you guys will read it. I know it's a huge event. One day you'll pick it up. It's really good. All of it's so good. I love it.
I'm very impressed with it.
I wish I had the room.
No, I get it. I totally understand. Yeah. There is some really good stuff. The only other issue related to it that came out this week was the Captain Marvel tie-in. And the Captain Marvel stuff is extremely good.
I'm going to have to pick it up.
Yeah, the Captain Marvel stuff is extremely good.
She's an accuser now.
She picks up a Kree accuser hammer, and she is now an accuser for like Emperor Hulkling, like Ronan. And that is something. But she doesn't totally trust the hammer. So I don't know if you know this part. So what she does is she goes to Doctor Strange and she says, I don't really trust something in the hammer. It's just a uncomfortable feeling. And so she does something that Hulkling's like, why did you do this? Because if the Kree find out you did this to one of their favorite things, they're going to be so pissed. But she makes it so Doctor Strange distributes the equal amount of power and thus influence between her and Jessica Drew, Rhodey.
Oh, I saw this.
It starts with an H.
I don't know. She basically a bunch of people get a bunch of superpowers now, and I saw.
And so they're all carrying carrying like spectral copies of the hammer.
Yeah,
it's good. Anyway, I started watching season 2 of Killing Eve. That show is not going the direction I thought it would, in a good way. Yeah.
So just real quick, if you could see it, that looks super cool. Everyone's got a cool ass hammer.
Ooh.
They're all part of Kree. What's up, Brody? You alive again?
Well, that is cool.
Killing Eva continues to be a very interesting, solid show. I watched Impractical Jokers when I wanted to laugh. I read Death Metal, so I'm caught up on that.
Yes.
I read Death Metal 3. I read I like that more. I read The Legends. Brandon, Ryan, and I actually had a whole hour conversation about this after we did our Fake Nerds watch.
It was nice to gab with you guys again.
Yeah, but I also agree with Brandon and Ryan more or less in the execution of the Batman Hatton, which makes me want to throw up every time I read that name, is really, really bad. And I'll just say really quickly, it's fundamentally bad because the Batman Who Laughs essentially gets equivalent power to Dr. Manhattan, but in having that power, it doesn't change who he is, which fundamentally having the power of Dr. Manhattan should. So that's the thing. But I did enjoy Death Metal 3. It's my favorite, I think, of the main titles so far.
Of the 3, yeah.
Yeah.
The guidebook is my favorite.
The
guidebook is the best thing.
Necessary and very good.
Yeah.
Jaro.
Yeah.
I love Jaro.
I liked that a lot. I really liked the guidebook because I feel like I'm much more aware of what's going on. I'm much more tuned in than I've been up to this point.
I'm really curious because I'm not fully caught. I wasn't fully caught up on Justice League. If that guidebook came out first, I really wonder if I would feel the way I felt about Metal going into it.
Sure.
Because this explains everything that you need to know.
Right.
It is so essential if you're not doing my Empire approach where you're reading everything, if you're just reading just the main event, you are not getting everything. And that sucks. I would say in Empire, you can get everything from reading that main title, and all the tie-in is just extra goodness, where this is that Justice League 5-issue tie-in. If you don't read it, you're not going to get the story. That sucks. Yeah. I hate that. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel
I don't
like
think
I have to buy the tie-ins.
I don't think the Justice League tie-in is going to be as necessary. And
he has tweeted that multiple times that this is necessary to the story. Williamson. He's tweeted multiple times, this is important to Metal. You have to buy it. He's tweeted that multiple times.
I mean, it's about what happened to the Legion of Doom after Justice League. So I'm excited for it. But I think the only really super important necessary book to come out that regardless of everything else is just guidebook. I think you can get a story from just reading Death Metal and not reading any of the tie-ins. But if you don't read guidebook, you'll be kind of lost.
Yeah. We read lots of comics. Like we're not the Casey casuals, right? I was still kind of confused on what the hell is going on in the story.
And look, I'm not going to lie to you. Any event, whether the tie-ins are necessary or not, if I'm able to get more out of reading the tie-ins, then I do want to do it. I just wish that I just wish guidebook had come out earlier. That's really fundamentally all it is. I don't mind tie-ins to an event. In my experience, they usually, some of my favorite moments from an event usually come from a tie-in. They almost rarely come from like the main series. Like my absolute favorite moment, it's usually a smaller story, like the one in guidebook where Poison Ivy tries to escape Wonder Woman's prison.
Vita!
By Vita Ayala, which I thought was beautiful.
I like that Zdarsky Harley thing. Like again, just there's all these stories that aren't like super important to the story. It just shows you what the world's like, and that's what I like about it.
I think for me, Sparks, what you're saying, I also agree. I go back to Flashpoint. My favorite moments from Flashpoint came from those tie-ins, not the main book. I like the main book, but those tie-ins some of them are really good.
And I would say this is even kind of true of the original Death Metal. That like I'm pretty sure some of my favorite shit was in the tie-ins.
Yeah.
That Stepan Sejic what was it like was it the Suicide Squad tie-in?
The Gotham Knights or something like that.
Yeah. And there was like that beautiful like all the villains got a bunch of superpowers and like it's not important to the story, but it's really cool and like that's what I'm into. Like that's what tie-ins should be. They shouldn't have to be read. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't have to be read.
Sure. I agree. Like they shouldn't have to be read for you to feel like you got something from reading the main event.
Yeah.
But I'm almost always in the place where like they're usually where I go for like the really good content because I don't think I've ever once read an event that was just the event and felt like it fully satisfied what I was looking for.
Secret Wars.
Okay. I'm not there.
No, I know.
Like,
but Secret Wars is honestly maybe the only event I've ever read where the event stands on its own so hard, and the tie-ins, because you read the Civil War tie-in, that looks dope. All those tie-ins are also equally dope, but none of them matter to the story.
Sure.
Like, that is my perfect, that's why I'm loving Empire. Because, like, it's all these side stories. I'm like, oh, it doesn't really matter. It's just Cap dealing with plant people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think back to, like, when we did the Hydra Cap event.
Secret
Empire. And I went hard on all the tie-ins, and I even read all the Captain America build-up from Sam Wilson being Captain America that led all the way into the Hydra Cap stuff. And I'm like, the event landed better for me because of having that stuff.
Yeah.
I have a hard time truly being sold on main story just events.
And again, if we were reading Justice League to up until the point this came out, then we would be more
I probably would
tied.
be way more.
But it's an unfortunate thing where we weren't at the time.
For sure. Anywho, so a lot of that kind of stuff. The rest that I have to talk about is reading comics. So before I dove 100% in on the last thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about how I reread and then caught up on the current running Doctor Doom title.
Yes!
The current running Doctor Doom title is really, really good. Really, 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 really good. Brandon, in particular, I think you'd really enjoy it. It's all about Doom basically being
he's framed.
So he's framed. He's framed for a heinous attack. Specifically, Latveria itself is framed under his leadership, and he's forced to abandon Latveria, and he's looking for something at the same time that he's having these visions of the future that he doesn't understand, where he's happy. And he's having a dialogue with Kang the Conqueror about the future.
Who keeps showing up randomly.
Just randomly appearing and then blipping out.
I love it.
While another country moves in to take over Latveria. And it's choice. It's choice.
This is the guy who's writing the new Iron Man comic, which is why I'm so excited.
But besides that, I read 85 issues of Batman this week, along with 4 annuals and the Pennyworth RIP special.
I said it last week, I didn't tell him he had to do this.
Because our book club was 7 issues chosen from the Tom King Batman run, and I'm like, I read about half this run. I'd like to go back and just finish it. So I did. That's a really good run, guys.
I want your honest opinion, because everyone knows here I love it. I love that run. That gives me a Batman that has never been experienced ever in the DC universe. This is the most human Batman's ever been. And a lot of people like that, a lot of people don't. So I'm really curious about what you think.
I genuinely think like the first 35-ish issues are just like they're really solid work, right? And then once you get past that, I think it's very difficult. It's hard for me to picture how well everything would have resonated if I didn't read it in somewhat concise time. Maybe not a week, but it has to be monthly. But it has to be in your mind.
Oh, sorry. This book came out bi-monthly, so I read this twice a month.
Yeah. But I think that the what's happening in the story has to kind of always be in your mind for where it goes to pay off. I think that if you sat down, either of you, Brandon, Ben, and you had the whole Tom King run in your hands, like I do, and you just read it in whatever amount of time you felt comfortable with, but you just went through it, the whole thing probably feels a lot better because it feels like long-form original graphic novel storytelling. That's what it feels like. It feels like Tom King had a direction and a plan he was going with from the beginning of the run, and every single issue is contributing to some part of that story. Even if it's minor, it's always building to some particular point.
So, it's very Jonathan Hickman in that way.
So may I say I've talked about it. Ryan knows I'm not a big fan of the Tom King Batman run.
Yeah. How much did you read? Because I don't think you read it. I don't. Why? Okay. Did you read 30 issues of it before you gave it up? Because that's a lot of money not to like a book.
I read 3 volumes. I read them in volumes.
Okay.
So I realized reading this book club what it is that I don't like about it, what it is that doesn't like resonate with me, and it is how it's written, not what's happening, not what's being led up. Because I like a lot of that, but how it is written, how he writes dialogue, isn't working. Doesn't work for me.
I can understand, because I will say, like, there are chunks of time where I don't even want to say like it's pretentious, but there are chunks of time where I feel like songs or pieces of poetry are used in a way where I'm like, this feels like this is supposed to be very weighty and lofty, but I don't know that it's going for the one-for-one connection to the material that we're supposed to be absorbing visually at the same time.
No, I 100% agree with that.
And I think that having read the whole run in a week, I do think there's a little bit of an over-reliance on that at times. Mm-hmm. However, that being said, I also do respect that at moments, one particular song is used like 4 times, I want to say. And the first time is Alfred singing it out loud, and then it's used as like kind of a song representing not only the love of Thomas and Martha, but also the love of Bruce and Selena. And I found that effective. But then there's other times where I'm like, I feel like this is weighty because it feels weighty, but it doesn't exactly know why it's weighty.
And I want to just say my thing about not enjoying how it's written. You know what? So sometimes a person's writing style doesn't resonate with you. You know, some people's the writing style of Brian Michael Bendis doesn't resonate with some people as well. Like, you know, it is just kind of me. It just doesn't work for me, whereas other people do. I like what's being written. I just don't like how. You know.
I just find it interesting because you like Vision and you like Mr. Miracle, right?
Okay, so I did go back to Mr. Miracle. I don't like it as much as I used to.
Oh my gosh!
But the same thing, and I went back to Vision also because I was curious about that. It works for me for Vision because he is a robot, and everyone around him is a robot, and it kind of like it kind of works for me a bit more. But and again, not saying he's a bad writer. It's just it doesn't work for me. You know?
No, that's fair. I mean, yeah. He's one. I think Batman got him an Eisner, actually. But that awards don't mean anything. We'll talk about it later, but I like this run because Batman has never been written this way. Batman's, I could argue, kind of. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We got a whole show.
I will just like give some broad strokes over the course of like what I experienced reading the run. Is just I know that I didn't fall in love with the run. I don't know that I fell in love with the run at all. But I didn't like get sucked into it until I was past the War of Jokes and Riddles.
That's in the 30s?
That's in the 30s heading into the 40s. Because right about there is where the broader picture of what he's doing becomes more clear.
The plan.
And it's not even necessarily like the semantics of where it's going or anything. I'm like, oh, I see. This really is going to be through and through a story about Bruce accepting that he wants happiness and love with Selena. And I mean, like, you can take that at face value at the beginning of the run that that's something he's coming to, but it's not until about midway where it becomes, this is actually like a thesis statement about Bruce Wayne accepting happiness. This is actually a thesis statement about what other people think about Bruce being able to do it and what he himself thinks about him being able to do it. And that does ultimately lead to a satisfying conclusion about the choices he makes. While rushed.
Not his fault.
No, of course. But certainly like those last 5 issues, all of a sudden, oh boy, you really race towards something. I will say specifically, because I don't want to spoil in the potential that you ever finish the run or that Ben reads the run, but a villain who has kind of Supermind predicted a whole lot of Bruce, which should be really hard because he's Batman. That aspect of him being so clever to outsmart Bruce ultimately kind of gets thrown to the wayside at the end of the run, and that's probably my biggest knock against it, is that it's just kind of like there's no moment. It's just like, and now he's not able to outsmart him, I guess.
If he had those extra 15 issues, I bet that wouldn't be a
sure,
problem.
but that's how it reads, and it's like,
I feel it.
That sucks. That's a knock on it for sure. But I never feel like the core is violated. I know the issue is not one of the issues you picked, but I will say I think my favorite issue of all.
So many issues I want to pick.
My favorite issue of all is when the Joker finds out about their impending nuptials.
So if you guys remember, it's at issue 49?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys remember 2 years ago, that was my favorite issue of the year. that Joker cap. I should have picked that issue because that issue is so fucking good. It makes me. It's the best Joker story written in the last 5 years, without a doubt.
Brandon, while I can agree with you about like a lot of some of the dialogue stuff, certainly there's a lot of repetition, but I think it's repetition because he's trying to make a point. But again, if you read that concise, those points feel maybe a little too reiterated. But the issue with Joker and Selina talking with each other is probably my favorite dialogue in the entire run. It's really good.
I can't tell you how hard it was because I really wanted to pick, and I picked something that I want that fit for you guys a little bit. It's just a little something for everyone, and like I didn't want to make it 10 issues because I'm not going to make you guys read 10 issues of a comic, but like there are so many single issues that I'm like, oh, this works so well by itself, but. Yeah. I'm glad you like that one because that's also one of my favorites too.
I would be happy to lend these volumes out sometime because I have them all in trade. I'd be happy to lend them out to whoever wanted to read them at some point. I will also say that we all know that Alfred is killed.
Hell yeah, he is.
That moment really worked.
Yes, it does.
That moment really, really worked. Because I had not read it yet. And I'm glad I didn't know how it happened. I'm glad I didn't know the circumstances around it.
And it's so sad.
It lands.
Because Bruce doesn't find out for so long.
Yes. It lands. There's a lot of really good... Tom King writes a beautiful... It's also not something we're going to talk about. Annual number 4 is kind of his epilogue to his run. And it's all pieces from Alfred's diary. That's about Bruce.
That's such a beautiful thing.
Day by day, and it's a really nice piece. It's just called Every Day. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
I appreciate you doing that.
All right. Should we finally move into our bread and butter?
No, let's call it a night. I'm good.
All right. Good night, everybody. Stay fake, everyone.
Get writing in.
So, Ryan, you said you wanted to put this one on here. Satoshi Kon.
Yes.
I'm so glad
passed away 10 years ago today.
So Satoshi Kon, I know him from Paranoia Agent. That's the only thing I've ever seen him do. But he is apparently super, super, super well known in the anime community. He's a director, he's a writer, he's a manga artist. Austin Walker of the Waypoints podcast pointed it out. He much like a Hideki Anno, he was a guy who made anime more than it was. He made things that like, yo man, life sucks, but you just got to deal with it sometimes. Like that kind of anime. Paprika. I know Paprika. That's another sci-fi anime movie I'm aware of. That dude he was so beloved, and it's nice to just remember things like that. And,
his anime was wild, out of the box. To this day, I have a hard time thinking of a more iconic and impactful. It's hard to say. No, that's not quite right, because I'm sure Cowboy Bebop would rank above it. But it's hard to think of something that is so jarringly representative of something different as an anime intro than the intro to Paranoia Agent. The anime intro to Paranoia Agent is one of the most interesting, bizarre anime intros I've ever seen in my life. Still. And that show's fantastic. Paprika is a fantastic anime film. This guy, he went wild out of the box with ideas, certainly for anime at the time that he was making it.
Yeah. Funny enough, I actually watched one of his movies when I was younger, and I didn't realize what it was. And it's a film that I would love to go back to, and it's Perfect Blue. Have any of you guys heard of that movie?
I've heard of it.
Mag says Tokyo Godfathers 2.
Yeah, Tokyo Godfathers.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, a quick synopsis of Perfect Blue. Perfect Blue is about a woman who's a Japanese pop idol, and she wants to move away from the pop idol to be her own person as an actress, but she has a stalker who's obsessed with her image as a pop idol, and she's also being haunted by said image of a pop idol. It's really batshit crazy. But it's one of those movies that another podcast I listened to, the Trash Taste podcast with a bunch of anime YouTubers, they talked like, yeah, Perfect Blue, that's a really good movie. And it really talks about how we perceive people, especially like in today's day and age with the internet, people who post on Instagram, who are on YouTube, what you see online isn't necessarily what they are offline.
Yeah. Right. There's a guy, again, Austin Walker, he had a bunch of people respond with things, and one guy, Colin, said the way he talked about misery and self-hatred and paranoia agent and not being nothing ever gets better wallowing or look on the bright side platitudes, but instead it's shit we can face and we can change it, meant the world to me. He wasn't a guy who lifted oblivion and said we can't face it like Hideki Anno. He's like, he said, no, we can do better. And that's really important, especially in a time right now.
Yeah.
He passed away 10 years ago at the age of 46.
Yeah, he died too young. Let's face it.
I definitely need to rewatch Perfect Blue. Also, Paprika looks crazy. I would love to watch more of his stuff.
Yeah, anytime you can seek out any of his work, I encourage it. Paranoia Agent is getting a Steelbook Blu-ray release, which is the only one. Its only Blu-ray release.
Yeah.
Through Best Buy, as far as I know, is the only place doing it here in the States. This is crazy because Paranoia Agent has been out of print pretty much as long as Neon Genesis Evangelion has been, and there's no other way to get that series right now without pirating it.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a beautiful high-definition release. People in the anime community are freaking out. They're super stoked about getting this series on Blu-ray. I'm super stoked. I pre-ordered it the second it happened. I would love, if you haven't watched it, this was on Toonami quite a lot during the late 90s, early 2000s. If you haven't watched it, I highly encourage it. I'd love for you guys to see it.
Okay. All right. And then this week, Ben Cross passed away. He's an actor of Chariots of Fire. Most recently, well, not most recently, but like most probably famously to the nerd community, he was Sarek in Star Trek 09. He was Spock's dad.
Yeah.
Married to Winona Ryder. He passed away this week at the age of 72 years old.
In the movie.
No, yes. No, I get it. Like, damn, Winona!
Tragic, in the nerd community.
Yeah.
Trek community.
Yeah.
All right. And then, so now we're getting into some of the kind of the fun stuff, some news before our news.
The news
before the news.
Speaking, we talked a little bit about death metal. Scott Snyder talked about a couple times that he's going to be backing away from mainstream comics. And this week he launched a Kickstarter for his first new series in his Best Jacket Press imprint that he's launching with Image.
So yeah, he announced this this is from the Word Balloon podcast that I told you guys about earlier in the week. But Best Jacket, it's not just Jacket. Jacket is an amalgamation of his two sons' names, Jackson and Emmett, I believe.
Oh,
so
cute.
Jack, and his whole thing was, okay, so at first I was a little concerned because why is this superstar Scott Snyder going to Kickstarter? It's not like he needs help making comics, right? Mm-hmm. So the reason I looked into it and I listened to the podcast and I'm like, oh, this is actually cooler than I thought. His whole thing was, yeah, I can go to, an Image or a Skybound and maybe get my book published, right? Or I can do it on my own with the help from my fans, and they get the book and they get all the behind the scenes and they get all the stuff afterwards, and they are directly supporting me and the artist. And I think that's awesome. And it's instead of him having to wait for developers or for publishers, he just gets to make the comics he wants to make. And he's getting superstar artists. And apparently he has like 9 books in the works. Mm-hmm. And this Kickstarter is already successful. I love Kickstarter. I think it's dope. Like help support artists if they need it. Make more comics, Scott Snyder. That's great.
So yeah, the first volume he's going to be launching with is Nocturnal, which he is doing with Tony S. Daniel.
Yep.
Basically, I'll just read it. The series is set in a world where the sun's light mysteriously vanished 10 years ago. This never-ending shroud of darkness transforms humans into terrifying shades and forces survivors to hide from the monsters all around the world. The only way to travel safely is by enlisting the aid of ferrymen who travel in illuminated transport vehicles. The series' main protagonist, Valentina Val Riggs, is one such ferryman, and she takes on a new job with the promise of a true sanctuary awaiting on the other side of the Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, man, using light as a weapon, I'm all about that. Alan Wake's really cool. Yeah, Tony Daniels is a great artist. They've worked together before, like on Batman and stuff. So like, I'm cool with it, man. More comic books is always a good thing. Scott Snyder's great.
Yeah. Speaking of more comics is always a good thing. Marvel is putting out.
One more thing, sorry. In that podcast, the interviewer asked him about Best Jack, and he's like, "Hey, is this going to be just for you? Are you going to be accepting, like submissions, blah blah blah?" And he's like, "Absolutely. It's not just going to be me writing comics. This is an imprint, so I can help other people. All my friends get books. Other people, like smaller creators, get books. So like Best Jack is another imprint where a bunch of new faces are going to arise, and that's always great."
Yeah. Marvel has announced they're releasing Wolverine Black, White, and Blood. A new Wolverine 4-issue miniseries, with the first issue's creative team being Jerry Duggan, Andy Kubert, Matthew Rosenberg, Joshua Cassara, and Declan Shalvey.
Those are all previous Wolverine artists, current X-Force artists. It's a great creative team.
It's going to be a new 4-issue miniseries that features untold tales from Logan's past.
It's just funny. It's just funny, Brandon, that like 2 weeks ago, DC released something very similar. And of course, comics take a long time to get made. It's just the timing's hilarious that there's also another black, white, and red comic coming out.
Yeah.
I'm personally more excited for this book just because like I'm down to read violent Wolverine. Like I like Harley, but like I won't necessarily read that first. But like this creative team gets me going.
I read the first issue of the Harley one because it was Stepan Cedric.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent.
It's a sequel to his Harleen book.
Oh, well, I can't read it then.
Well, you can. It doesn't spoil anything. Harley Quinn becomes Harley Quinn.
Oh no, spoilers.
Other creators that are going to be on this book in later issues are Vita Ayala, Chris Claremont, Saladin Ahmad, Donny Cates, Ed Brisson, Kelly Thompson, Greg Land, Salvador Larroca, Kev Walker, Chris Bachalo, and Leonard Kirk, and they just say more, so more to come.
Yeah, this is like another fun anthology book.
Yeah.
I really wish that the next solo book wasn't another Wolverine book. There are literally a million X-Men who deserve books more than Wolverine, but they want to sell comics, so I get it. At least this creatively looks interesting. Yeah. That being said, I'm probably not going to read it immediately.
It will probably not be it will probably not be in the checklist at the back of every X-Men title.
Yeah, definitely not.
I started following that now that I'm reading all the X-Men books.
Yeah, it's good. It's helpful.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, real quick. So there's a couple. So there's the Empire X-Men tie-ins, and then there's just the X-Men books, which are also tie-ins. Mm-hmm. So the X-Men X-Men has its own checklist, and then Empire has its own checklist, and they're conflicting because of all the X-Men stuff. Because there's just 2 X-Men tie-in books, and they're just it's funny.
Whatever. So much X-Men.
Yeah.
X-Men are, man, I really like those books.
Yeah. I haven't picked up a single X-Men book and I've been disappointed with it. Every single X-Men book I've bought, I've liked in some way or shape or form.
Real quickly, X-Men stuff. How long do you guys think it'll take till there's a issue completely in Krakoan?
That's actually a great question. And Jonathan Hickman is absolutely the guy to do that, because when Johnny Storm died, he did an entirely silent issue after he died. So I would bet it's not a regular issue. I bet it's something like an annual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could see that. Or
I am sure there is an issue coming that is just in Krakoa.
Or it's a giant size X-Men about Krakoa.
Yeah.
Because the island's also a mutant, and his entire book is in all Krakoan.
It's true. Brandon, I think you're on something. I don't think it's been announced yet, but I definitely think that's something that will happen.
Oh, yeah.
We should totally tweet the...
All right. Eternals. The Eternals are coming back in a big way. As we all know, there is a movie supposed to come out in a couple months. Now it's next year.
It's November, maybe the same time the book comes out.
This book will be coming out in November. Written by Kieran Gillen.
Why? Remember New Mutants was supposed to come out April 2017. There was a New Mutants miniseries that came out 2017.
Yep. They are going to be relaunching. Kieran Gillen, along with Asad Ribic, will be relaunching the Eternals book. Initially, they only wrote "Never Die, Never Win," but that is the tagline, not the solicitation. The solicitation came out later on in the week, which says, "What's the point of an eternal battle? For millions of years, 100 Eternals have roamed the earth. secret protectors of humanity. Without them, we'd be smears between the teeth of the demon-like deviants. Their war has waged for all time, echoing in our myths and nightmares. But today, Eternals face something new, change. Can they, or anyone on Earth, survive the discovery?
That's the most Kieran Gillen thing in the world. His whole thing's all about change. Can these people who've never changed change? This is so exciting, you guys. Not just because it's Kieran Gillen, who's a space god. He's also relaunching the Warhammer comics. Assad Ribic is a god. We all know his great work. This book, it's supposed to coincide with that movie. It sounds like it's dealing with stuff from that movie, all the deviants and all their secret history and their secret war. The Eternals, without a doubt, the thing that I'm least read on in the Marvel comics, because there's not a lot of Eternals comics, you guys. There's the Jack Kirby shit, and then there's some miniseries, and then there's some modern miniseries. There hasn't been an Eternals comic in a decade. So it's very interesting that Marvel's going so hard. I'm very curious what everyone's gonna think, because these are definitely the most like Superman characters. Like these are all like people who can't die. So how do you make that interesting? I'm very curious.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think I might pick this one up.
At least the first issue for sure.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of Marvel, but the other side of Marvel, Sony's universe of Marvel characters, some rumblings happened as far as directors. Craven has a director, guys. The new movie Craven coming out whenever has a director, and J.C. Chandor, who directed Triple Frontier.
That's a decent action movie. I think we all agree. We don't get it.
No,
I think we all get it.
I mean, I'll take a Craven movie where he's fighting Spider-Man.
Nope.
That is called Spider-Man.
How about an origin movie?
Something where he's fighting Craven.
How about an origin movie where it turns out he's not the bad guy you think he is? What if everything you thought you knew?
If I may quote one of my favorite characters, how about no?
Dr. Evil's one of your favorite characters?
No. I started speaking, I was like, I just gotta finish it.
I'll take it. It's just like, wow, I love it.
It's one of my favorite. It is one of my favorite quotes, though.
I only have.
Can you hear me?
I only have Venom to go off of, so no, thank you.
Yeah.
Like I am the most interested in that Morbius movie, but again, like
I'm interested too.
Between the two, like Morbius at least makes some more sense to me.
Yeah, he is more standard. Yeah.
I'm like Craven. I don't want to watch a dude just killing animals.
Doesn't Craven hunt Spider-Man because
he's the ultimate
He's the ultimate prey.
He's ultimate prey.
Yeah. Spider-Man's the ultimate prey. He goes after Spider-Man because cool. We're watching a hunter. What? We have other movies.
It's just
a pre-fighting Spider-Man Craven movie? It's just him being a hunter, and I don't give a crap.
It's what turns him into the ultimate hunter.
I don't know. What turns him into the ultimate hunter is hunting down Spider-Man.
Honestly, I'll even give Venom a pass because Venom works on his own. But Craven, I don't know the last time there was a Craven miniseries. Craven's a Spider-Man guy.
The last time I read anything that had to do with Craven was Brandon's book club a few weeks ago.
Oh, actually, Craven was on the original Secret Avengers team from the 60s. But that's something completely separate.
Don't get me wrong. Craven's a cool character. There are cool things happening with Craven that have happened recently in the comics.
Yeah.
Craven's a good character. He just doesn't need his own film.
Oh, I'm not
building
saying
up
that he's
not.
I'm not saying that Craven isn't a good character. I'm saying that he doesn't need his own movie. Now,
I didn't say you were saying that. I was saying
they are taking the Marvel approach, but in the wrong ways. They're like, every character needs an origin? Cool, Sinister Six, every villain needs an origin? Like, no, homie, we didn't say that. We didn't say that.
You look like you want to say something. What's up?
Oh, no, I want to move on to the other thing because I care more about that.
Oh, okay.
Olivia Wilde, actor, director Olivia Wilde has been signed on to direct a female-led Marvel film. It's all we knew until she tweeted out a spider emoji. Mm-hmm. So it is Spider-Man related.
Silk or Spider-Woman?
Probably Spider-Woman.
Probably.
So somebody brought something up to me, and you're way more versed in Ultimate Universe. I had my mind entirely on 616, Hydra, Shield Agent Jessica Drew. I did not even consider they can do Ultimate Jessica Drew. who is so entitled to Spider-Man shit. I didn't even consider that. So I don't even know what this movie could be.
That'd be weird because Spider-Woman in the Ultimate Universe is a clone of Peter.
Well,
lady.
Yeah. So
but I do think a Silk film is possible. We heard they were trying to make one.
That makes, yeah.
I could see her do like Booksmart meets Spider-Man with Silk. I'm a nut.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a young, funny female that Spider Lady movie. Like that sounds cool. Yeah. Like people were saying Gwen Stacy, and I'm like, you guys are high out of your asses. What are you talking about? Like, oh, is this that Black Widow Silver Sable movie? I'm like, no, it's not. Sorry.
She's co-writing the film with Katie Silberman.
Do we know what Miss Silverman's track record looks like?
I forgot to look it up.
Wait,
I'll look it up.
With Silver Sable, that was it. Black Cat or
Black Cat and Silver Sable? Yeah.
Okay.
They were gonna have a team movie. I don't know where.
And then they were gonna make it one or the other.
Look, at this moment in time, the Sony films for me are for nothing.
She wrote on New Girl. Okay, I'll take it.
The Sony films are 0 completely for me because we haven't had Morbius. I like Olivia Wilde. I'm tired.
I feel like Sony went to the Warner Brothers lot and it's like, yo, you guys doing a dartboard approach? Can we do that? It's like Spider-Woman.
You know what it is. You know what it is. I will have a better idea how I feel. No, you know what? I won't. I won't have a good idea how I feel till I see this. Because the thing is that they can bring in someone talented to work on it, but I do not trust Sony. I do not trust them as a production company to not mess it up and mess with the film. I don't. I have no reason to feel that way at this time. I am not against Sony spearheading the Spider-Man side of the MCU and that being something that works together. And it's like, hey, here's a bunch of characters that we can work with. But everything that they've done and said is so wrong-headed. I don't have faith in them.
Modern Web,
even with Olivia
Madam
Wilde.
Web movie, right?
I don't have faith that Sony's not going to make it bad.
I forgot about the Madam Web movie.
Yep. It's just Spider-Man has so many. And this is no disrespect to like Silk or whatever, or I guess even Craven, but the approach they're going for, I'm like, wow, did you really think about it?
Let me put it this way: would it shock anybody if in 7 months we heard that Olivia Wilde decided to leave the project because of creative differences?
No, not at all.
Where she wants to do something and Sony's like, wait, but you got to include this, you got to do this thing, you got to do this thing, and she's like, I just want to tell this story, and they're like, nah, we're Sony.
So
the only division of Sony that I even trust with anything Spider-Man related is Sony Animation, because right now they knocked. I mean, yeah, it's their one film, Spider-Verse. They knocked it out of the park.
Yeah,
that's the only one I'll trust with us. Everything else, no.
Yeah. All right. Let's move away from something fun.
Something that won't make me depressed. Okay.
Yeah. Jensen Ackles has been cast in The Boys season 3 as Soldier Boy.
I'm into it.
Thank you. Give that whole cast something else, please.
Jared Padalecki can leave his career at San
Francisco.
Guys,
he's got. Wait, he has Walker Texas Ranger.
Who, Jared?
Yeah, he does. That's nice.
He's the new Chuck Norris.
That'll get canceled after 1 season, I promise you.
Well, wait, Jared Padalecki is gonna be Walker Texas Ranger now?
There's a show currently on.
Bullshit.
From the Country Channel?
Bullshit. What? Where is this?
Hold on, Ben. I also don't know about this. That's crazy.
I'm not calling you a liar, but I do not believe you.
Oh my god.
I know Jared Padalecki was cast as the new Walker Texas Ranger. I don't know that the show's on right now. Anyway.
Oh, it's at the CW too. That's awful. It hasn't premiered yet, but it's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
CW?
CW.
Here's the thing. I don't trust that Jared Padalecki will ever leave the CW. But Jensen can, and Jensen should. And Jensen is, and Jensen's good.
Yo, man, I don't know how old that dude is, but he voiced Red Hood. That dude would be a good Red
Here's
Hood.
the whole thing. Jensen Ackles was at least in the first round of stuff for Captain America.
Yeah.
Way back in the day.
Him and Jim.
So in what was originally supposed to be the last season of Supernatural, the 5th season, there's this one nod to around the time that he went to audition that Eric Kripke slipped in, where he pulls down a helmet that has an A on it, which is cute. Now him getting to play a type of Captain America character on The Boys, I'm like, full circle, baby.
But the worst possible.
Yeah, full circle, baby.
Yeah,
because
baby.
Jensen Ackles can totally do it.
Oh my god, his name is Soldier Boy. Oh man.
No, funny enough, I actually because I knew Jensen Ackles was big in Supernatural, but I actually first started watching him thanks to Smallville, because he was on Smallville for like what, 3 seasons?
1.
Oh, 1 season? Okay.
Yeah, he was on the 4th season, and then the year after that, he was on Supernatural.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, because I remember I was talking to Brandon because they kept calling him Jason. I was like, dude, I'm just waiting for them to say Jason Todd. Lo and behold, he voiced Jason Todd, and also he did that really cool cosplay that he posted on his Instagram a while ago. And I'm like, just give him Jason Todd. Just let him have it.
It sucks
Let
that
him
they
do
couldn't get him
whatever.
back for the new death.
What was that?
It sucks that they couldn't get him back for the new Death in the Family.
Yeah.
Jensen is very talented. I've seen a lot of the stuff he did that is outside of Supernatural, and he's clearly capable of more than what. And like honestly, I'll even give you the first 8 seasons of Supernatural. He's like pulling in some good stuff, even with the worst writing. He's pulling in some like real strong emotional stuff. And then it starts to become, it's just formulaic. I don't blame anybody. It's just, you've been doing it for forever, and it's kind of the same stuff. But the guy works hard, and I'm so glad he's getting this. I'm pumped to see him in this.
All right. The new Pinocchio film that Guillermo del Toro is doing released its cast. This is a stop-motion film set during the rise of fascism in Mussolini's Italy. Pinocchio, a musical directed by Del Toro and Mark Gustafsson. Fantastic Mr. Fox.
It's a fascist musical? Hell yeah, all right.
With a score by Alexandre Desplat.
Ooh, yeah.
Is a story of love and disobedience as Pinocchio struggles to live up to his father's expectations.
Where was the origin of Pinocchio? Was that Germany? Like, where did the story originate?
You're asking wrong people.
It's in Italy now, Ben. Deal with it.
Okay.
Gregory Mann.
I'm on it.
Newbie, new actor. All right, I'll get on my phone too. Let's do it.
I'm looking it up.
Gregory Mann, new actor, young actor, is going to be voicing Pinocchio. Ewan McGregor will be Cricket. And David Bradley Filch from Harry Potter.
That's good.
Will be
Italian.
Geppetto.
It is Italian thing. Cool.
Oh, rad.
Oh, called it. So David Bradley will be.
Geppetto's a pretty Italian name, I gotta say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, Geppetto does sound Italian, and I mean, credit to the Disney movie for a little bit. Wasn't the circus Stromboli or something?
Yes.
Remember that? You guys ever seen that Drew Carey Pinocchio musical where he plays Geppetto?
Unfortunately, I've seen clips from it.
Nope.
Okay, is that the one where Pinocchio is in kind of like a clown suit? Because I remember there was another one that came out at Christmas years ago where there was a CGI wooden boy.
Not that one. That's the one with
different.
That's the one with Home Improvement Kid.
Okay,
gross.
I saw that one in theaters, but the second Pinocchio movie where I think he's in like some sort of clown-looking outfit, it looks stupid. I was like, nope, I'm done.
It's called Geppetto, that Drew Carey Pinocchio movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
All right. Anyway, the rest of the cast includes, though we don't know who they're playing, Tilda Swinton, Christoph Waltz, Finn Wolfhard, Kate Blanchett, John Turturro, Ron Perlman, Tom Blake Nelson, Bern Gorman.
Those are all actors, all right. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Good actors.
Stop motion? That's gonna be sweet.
I will believe it when there's a trailer.
Yeah, come on. We know how your tricks work.
He's co-directing this one. He's co-directing this one.
I will
co-directing
believe it when there's a trailer.
Yeah, I'm still looking over here at the list of Del Toro films that he says he's working on. The biggest one is Haunted Mansion still.
Oh,
That'll never happen.
No, it's not.
At the Mountains of Madness, he'll He'll die.
It's
He'll die
dead
before he makes that.
forever. Lovecraft Country's out. We don't need it anymore.
All right. I'm sorry, guys. I accidentally put the biggest news of the week. Now, so we'll just say it. Will Smith and Kevin Hart are remaking Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I actually have no problem with this.
Neither do I, actually.
I like those people. That movie is a classic. It's still gonna be there if this movie is good or bad.
That movie is a classic and a product of its time.
Yes.
And I'm very interested how they're going to go about it, because I'm not going to lie to you, I would almost prefer it being set at the same time as the original.
Oh, for the political
But for black
shit.
guys, no. But also because I don't know how you make Planes, Trains, and Automobiles work with cell phones.
Oh, that's a very good point, because the whole thing is he has to get somewhere and like there's the communication problem. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I'm not saying it can't be done. However, I will be way more invested if it's not just a modern remake.
If it's like a period piece?
But it's a period piece.
Yeah.
With them in it, early 90s. I'd be like, you know what? That's pretty good.
Dude,
That's
1990s,
cool.
Will Smith, Kevin Hart. Yeah. I could be down for that.
I've never seen the original, but I mean, Kevin Hart, Will Smith. I'm like, they're good actors. They're good comedic actors. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Definitely in my top 3 John Candy films.
John Candy is, oh my God.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That's sweet, man.
Perfect. Like a lot of people talk about what's a good Thanksgiving movie. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a fantastic Thanksgiving movie. It is occurring for that holiday.
Bringing people together.
It's a perfect movie to watch for that.
That's also Steve Martin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, because the one I was thinking, oh God, what was he in? No, he wasn't Uncle Buck. That was Chris.
Uncle Buck is John Candy.
Uncle Buck is John Candy.
Another performance.
Yeah, but that's with David Spade, right?
David Spade.
No, you're thinking of Chris Farley.
Chris Farley.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's what I'm thinking, Chris Farley.
That's not Uncle Buck. Yeah. Yes, Uncle Buck is top tier John Candy.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay.
This film will be written and directed by Aisha Carr. So.
Cool.
All right. Pedro Pascal has been cast in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is the Nicolas Cage as Nicolas Cage movie.
Okay. I watched an interview, not an interview, but like a fun Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac answer questions thing. And I got such a good idea of who Pedro Pascal is as a person, and that energy directed at I'm a Nick Cage super fan. I'm sold. I'm so sold.
Yeah, same. I'm really excited.
We love Nick Cage. That dude's hilarious.
Yeah.
This every once in a while, a movie gets made about celebrity where they play themselves. Like Jean-Claude Van Damme's best movie is called JCVD, where he is inside of a bank playing himself when he gets robbed by robbers, and it's him dealing with the robbers, and it's very real.
My name is Bruce Campbell.
My name is Bruce. Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah. I completely forgot about that one. But yeah, I love the idea of just Nick Cage dealing with a super fan, but it's also played by a superstar. I'm like, this just sounds so fun.
And I really hope that it's as weird as I think Pedro Pascal can be.
Yeah.
Having seen who he's more on a personal level. Yeah. With things like those interviews and those questionnaires, I'm like, oh, you're nothing like the characters you play. You're super goofy.
Yeah. The last movie dealing with a super fan was a John Travolta movie called The Fan, where he was campaigning for an Oscar. John Travolta didn't need an Oscar for that movie. I'll let you know right now. But most of the time you deal with Superfan movies, there's a Patton Oswalt one called Superfan, where he's obsessed with a football player, and it's really dramatic. Most of those movies are super serious. So I'm really curious if this is going to be more comedic because it's Nick Cage.
God, I hope
or if it's going to ride the line of being funny, but also yo, this is effed up.
Well, wait, do you know the description of the movie?
I no.
So okay, I have it here. The action comedy riffs on Cage's image in a meta way, with Cage playing Nicolas Cage, an Oscar-winning but debt-ridden actor in need of the $1 million payday Javi provides for Cage's attendance at his birthday party. Things go haywire, and Cage, who was angling for a part in a Quentin Tarantino movie, gets pulled into an ever-growing web of intrigue between the CIA and drug kingpin Fending for his life and trying to protect his family, Cage has to adopt the persona of characters he's portrayed in several of his past films.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing! Is he gonna be playing like the guy from the vampire?
Buy me a ticket for this movie now, please.
That sounds incredible. That sounds incredible. Do you know who? Do you have who's directing it?
Oh, I forgot to look it up, but they haven't started filming yet. It's coming.
Okay. What's it called again, please?
Sorry, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Gotcha.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm so.
All right, trailers, guys.
We're here.
Black Myth. I was here first.
I was your second.
Black Myth: Wukong.
Yeah.
A new video game coming out.
Yes.
Not just a new video game. A video game developed by an indie developer with a small team. This game looks wicked, you guys. I love the Monkey King Witcher.
We talked about Journey to the West earlier. This is Journey to the West.
Yeah.
Yes,
This is Journey to the West, the video game.
You're the Monkey King.
It's kind of... No, it's literally Journey to the West, the
All
video
the
game.
enemies you fight are like dog people and cat people and animal people.
And then godlike beings.
And then godlike beings, and you turn into a bug for stealth. Like, this game looks crazy. Are you kidding me?
And it looks good.
And
it's
it
one of the
good.
best looking PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series.
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm very curious if this is coming out next year, because this game looks so far ahead. It looks like it's like ready, but it's the first time we've heard about it. It said it was alpha gameplay, and alpha means it's still really far away. So if this is what it looks like now, this game's going to look
incredible.
Insane.
No.
Yeah.
The combat looks smooth. How you can transition from being the Monkey King to a cicada to go fly away. I thought it was really cool. And I think we also, when we talked about Ghost of Tsushima a while ago, there's an option just to have the original dialogue in Japanese. Yeah. And I really hope you can do that, because while I was watching the trailer, I mean, I don't speak Chinese at all, but the first part of it had subtitles, and then the rest of the game unfortunately didn't. But that still didn't matter. But I'm like, man, even if I do play this game, I would, if it has English, cool. But I actually might just take the plunge and just play this game with the Chinese dialogue.
Yeah, there are a couple games that come to the West, like the Yakuza games, a couple of JRPGs where they don't have English dub. If this game is just in Chinese, I honestly won't mind, because that will get me more into it.
Ryan, really deep cut on when Mega Man X6 came out here in the United States originally. That didn't have a English dub. It was English text boxes, but the voice acting was all in Japanese.
That's cool. Good.
I'm super excited. I didn't know anything about this until, I have to give credit where credit's due on my end anyway. Pi, our friend of the podcast, shared this trailer before I knew about it, and I'm like, oh, this is incredible.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
The part where near the end where he's just fighting all these dudes that looks like freaking like the best version of Dynasty Warriors, while there's a giant godlike being in the background. I'm like,
it's just cool, man.
This is gonna be nuts.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Kaiju-sized godlike beings.
Clash Action Park. A new docuseries come to HBO Max.
So I've been watching some. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Defunctland on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of that recently, just for shits and giggles. I'm really interested in watching a documentary about this, apparently the world's most dangerous theme park ever.
Yes, real quick, Ben, back on Defunctland. All of you guys should watch, and you at home.
I've watched.
Yeah, Defunctland. It's about all the theme parks that have been gone to history.
Yes.
It's like
the rides, attractions, everything.
Like hour-long documentaries about like everything about it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
This place was real. Many people died. I listened to a podcast called The Comedy Button, and a lot of those guys grew up in Jersey and went there and experienced that shit. And the stories they tell were like, it was just a bunch of teenagers running the place. And like the owners didn't give a shit, and the security didn't give a shit, and the safety was just horrible. But nobody cared. Everyone was just having fun. I'm like, man, like the 80s and 90s were crazy.
They made a movie. They recently made a comedy movie based on.
Yeah, with Johnny Knoxville. Maybe made it a little more fun than actually dangerous. Like, oh, we're having fun dying here. I'm like, oh, Johnny.
No, but seeing that water slide in the trailer with a loop-de-loop on it, I'm like, how?
That's crazy. Are you kidding me, dude? I think it's
they say it in the trailer. They're like, you don't want to be the second guy to get decapitated in the pool.
Yeah,
You
like
shoot down the pool.
Die in the wave pool.
Yeah. That place stayed open for years after it definitely should have closed. The guy, he couldn't get insurance, so he created his own insurance company to insure himself. It's just things like that. I'm like, oh, this is so illegal and crazy. I can't wait to watch this one.
Just watching the clips from the 80s and 90s of people going to this park and drinking giant steins of beer. It's like, oh yeah, people are gonna get hurt.
Yeah. And then finally, you guys didn't have to watch this one, but there was a new trailer for Tenet that came out this week.
I didn't watch a trailer. I watched the music video.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah. This is the least Nolan style trailer for a Nolan film I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
This is straight up a music video, really, just using all the footage from Tenet. Guys, that movie looks awesome. Like, I don't know how much more footage I could see. I'm sold on that movie.
I don't have anything to say about it because, like, I don't know what's happening.
They've shown me
intrigued.
So much more time stuff where the people are interacting with going in, like they're doing stuff into the future while the past is also happening, like catching bullets, stepping into a puddle, and the puddle is like erupting under you. Like you're not shooting the bullet, you're catching the bullet. The trailer, like the flames are going back to where they were coming from. Like so much time travel stuff happening in the real time. I just don't know how they film some of the stuff. It's so impressive. This movie looks like every Christopher Nolan movie. I'm like, I love going to the movies for Chris Nolan movies. I can't wait to see it. Will I see this in theater?
I definitely got, I mean, obviously he directed it, but as I'm watching this, I'm getting like Inception vibes. I'm getting like crazy high concept. And it's like, this is like when I got out of Inception, when I first saw it in theaters back in 2009, I was like, or 2010 or whatever the fuck that movie came out. I was 2010. I was like talking about it for ages with my friends about dreams and how like, oh, the concept of the film. I feel like this is one of those movies that when I walk out of there, I'm going to be talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. I'm
very excited.
All right, we are at the topic, which is more news.
And more trailers.
More trailers. Real quickly, though, DC FanDome happened this week. Who watched the stream, by the way?
Not all of it, but most.
I watched most of it.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I just had it on.
I cared about. Because we specifically didn't want to watch the Titans panel because we haven't finished Titans, so we didn't watch it.
Yeah, I just had it on. Some of the things I didn't really care about, but I just put it on. Got me really upset at one point. We'll talk about it anyway. But today they also released a new 45-minute panel that was the Superman Man of Tomorrow panel. They did this because when they initially scheduled that panel for the September 12th event, they didn't realize that the movie would be out. So they decided to do this.
That's an oopsie.
I was going to say, I was like, wait, isn't that soon?
Yeah. So they talked a little bit about Superman Man of Tomorrow, but the big thing was that they released the new animated films to come out next year. Next year, the DC animated films, there'll be 4 of them. Batman Soul of the Dragon, which is one that we knew about already. Talked about it last week. Justice Society World War II. Thank you. I'm excited.
That was announced like last night or something. It's so weird because we're still getting news after FanDome. I'm like, why didn't you just put it in the FanDome?
Because they put it in this Man of Tomorrow panel, and that's where it was.
Oh, okay, sure.
And then they released it late.
Yeah.
The Justice Society movie, I'm so stoked for.
Oh, me too. Dude, when I saw that on the thing, I'm like, yes, gimme.
And
lots of good JSA representation this day.
Yeah. And then Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1 and Part 2, all coming out next year.
I'd rather them do the 2-parters because that Dark Knight Returns 2-parters makes it so much better. Not taking away stuff that's core to that book is really important, especially if you want to tell something like Long Halloween. You can't cut out some months. Some of those months are really important.
You can't.
I just hope it's good.
Yeah.
I'm not even worried about it being good. I'm just like, I'm glad we got the JSA announcement. Why do the other 3 all have to be Batman?
Because Batman sells.
I know, but just like when we went through all those previous animated films and like 75% of them are Batman. I'm exaggerating, but like a
No,
lot
yeah.
of them were Batman,
No,
and I'm
yeah.
like, I did. There's other people who
Wow.
deserve animated movies.
I agree. 100.
Give me a Flash animated movie that isn't Flashpoint. He can't get it in live action. Give it to him in animation.
No, I completely agree, but I've been hoping for something for I feel Long Halloween is finally getting a due, essentially, because that's one of my favorite books of all time. Is a really good book,
We
and
made it a book club. Like,
I made a book club twice.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's my personal favorite Batman story. So minus all the other stuff, it's like yes, Long Halloween. But I do agree, yeah, there's way too many freaking Batman stuff. I mean, JSA, woohoo, Batman. Why?
Yeah,
Right.
Just can we have other DC heroes, please?
I'm
Green Lantern.
Well, there are some other cool announcements.
There are.
And let's get right into them. The stream started.
Wait. You clearly had thoughts about Batman Long Halloween.
No, I didn't.
No? Nothing?
No.
Okay.
It's whatever. It's Batman.
I'll be honest. I don't know if we need an animated Long Halloween.
No, I don't think so either.
But I also didn't need a Batman Hush or a Batman, Son of Batman, or Batman. We're going to get them no matter what.
I guess I'll be more clear. I don't know how well that book will translate to animated.
Yeah.
That's the dude talking, discovering mysteries.
You would have to change the art style.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they haven't done that in these movies before.
No, true, but some
Turn out well.
No, I agree. It's just like
when they try to keep to the story, they do try to keep to the animation style.
we'll see. Too early to tell.
You look at The Dark Knight Returns is a good example. It looks like Frank Miller but 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and those two movies rule. I think those are good.
All right, so let's get right into it. The event happened, started right at 10 o'clock. I just had the whole thing on, and right away I thought, what are our initial thoughts of the thing before we get into some of the bigger announcements?
I think overall it was pretty great.
Yeah, I did too.
I left feeling besides the comics, because the comics is getting its own separate event. I felt really positive about DC.
Yeah,
which is what I really wanted to feel.
DC Media,
sure. Because we've talked about it. Like the comics aren't really giving me what I want, and like it's nice to see the future's bright, at least on this end.
Yeah. I just have the panels listed, so just gonna go through them, talk about them if we have any major thoughts. But the first panel that dropped was Wonder Woman 1984. They did their little thing. They're like a big happy family. They all love each other. It's great. Linda Carter asked a question. It was great. But they showed the new trailer, the second and last trailer for Wonder Woman 1984. Holy crap, guys. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Cheetah looks good.
I think Cheetah looks great.
I thought that first trailer was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I think this trailer is pretty dope. I everything I saw, I'm still like I've now accepted Steve Trevor's in the movie, and now that I see he's like the comic relief, I'm like, oh hell yeah. Give me all the parachute pants jokes.
Yes.
Give me all of that.
Does everybody need parachutes?
I thought it was funny when they did the art joke, and then we got the parachute pants joke. I'm like, does everyone just parachute out? Like, oh, Steven, no.
He's a fish out of water instead of her. It's a nice reversal. I'm very curious about what the plot of the movie is going to be. From everything we've seen of the two trailers, there's a big satellite. I think that's where Max Warlord is giving his broadcast to get to the world. He has some type of magical artifact that brings people's dreams to life. But does that affect the entire world or just affect the characters in the movie? Because it affects Wonder Woman and it affects Barbara, but it has to affect everyone else. So I'm really curious about the state of the world that we just haven't seen yet. Because there's a lot of stuff we just haven't seen. I think Cheetah looks great. I was really worried. We're going to get some shitty furry stuff. That was like a cheetah lady. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. And Kristen Wiig looks great.
She does.
This is really our first look at her playing Barbara, and I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see her bring a lot of sincerity to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that was awesome. The panel was great. Right away, I was thinking like, this is well done. You didn't need these to be any longer.
Yeah.
the next panel was the Batman Gotham Knights trailer.
Can I tell you what helped this whole event more than things like San Diego Comic-Con and everything?
Yeah.
The hosts for the panels that are there don't make it all about themselves.
True.
And their appreciation for the fans.
Yes.
Taking a shot at Chris Hardwick, but there are other hosts that have done this where they have to like plug their things into like their own personal attachments to things and all that. I'm like, just let them talk.
Yeah,
you ask the question, you engage with them in a fun way, but you let them talk.
I'm not there for the host. I'm here for the content. Yes.
Yeah. So the Warner Brothers Montreal, Warner Brothers Game Montreal, they were going to announce what they've been working on this entire time, and they did. It is Batman Gotham Knights, which is
I think they should have switched the two game presentations because this game's coming out soon and the other one's not.
Yeah.
And I think we're all in agreement. This game looks pretty sick. Yeah. At least for me, man, like it's the reason I started playing that Arkham Knight game again. Like all I want is to play as the Bat family. And there's nothing juicier than having a Batman game where he's not in it. That makes me so happy. That is such a hard thing to actually commit to. You're having a Batman game that Batman's not in it. Batman is your seller. So they're relying on the family. And I think it's shown people like the family. At least online, people are so stoked for this dude. Like I watched that gameplay footage in like 4K on my big TV and I'm like, holy shit, baby, I'm ready. Give me this game. Playing it with my friends.
It does look tonally inspired from the Arkham games, but they were clear it is a separate universe.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, it is.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Yeah, it does.
And it's not really a big deal, but I thought it was really cool that half the cast are Asian actors. Nightwing and Jason Todd are Asian actors.
Nice.
So yeah, I think that's really cool. I think all the characters look great. They all have like distinct looks. Like Jason Todd looks like he's been through some shit. He's got a big old scar and some gray hair. He's got some rogue action going on. I'm very excited.
They all have special techniques.
Yes, so they all level up differently. They're all going to have their own skill trees. It's not like an Avengers. That's what everyone thought originally was. This is a live service game. It's not. It's an Arkham Asylum game of 4 characters, which is great. But they all have their own skill trees. You don't have to worry about like mix and matching. They all have their own stuff, so you can play who you want when you want.
Oh wait! This isn't an online 4-player co-op.
This is a 2-person co-op game. It's a single-player Arkham game, or you can play it the entire game with a friend.
Oh,
this is an Arkham game.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually way more into it now.
Me too. I don't care about that Suicide Squad game that much.
So the fact that they mentioned multiplayer, co-op multiplayer, just makes me ecstatic.
You can play the entire campaign with a friend. Now, I understand not doing 4-player. That might be too hard on the system, but 2 is still fun. That's really cool.
But how cool would it be if all 4 of us were able to play online together, co-op style?
Yeah, I think it might be just too difficult for the story stuff they want.
It might.
I think on top of that, I don't get the impression that most missions, if any, are designed for all 4 characters to be in one place at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think every character could be at every location. Yeah.
No, but I mean, what I mean is like what it seems like is that they're doing more individual missions that don't involve, like you could have any character in a place, but they're not designed for 4 heroes to go through it. They're not designed to have that kind of enemy amount to equal to 4 heroes, kind of thing. The bosses aren't designed to encounter 4 heroes.
It's 2 people at a time.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not 4 players at once. It's you choose 2 of the.
So even though it's multiplayer, I can only assume it's multiplayer via online because having to do that split screen couch co-op might be a little much.
Yeah, companies have unfortunately given up on split screen a lot of times.
Yeah, but if there is a split screen option, yes, that'd be so much fun to do.
Yeah.
To be honest, I understand why a lot of companies have given up on split screen when it comes to games like this, because it's very hard to make the camera system feel like you're seeing as much of the game as you're supposed to.
I understand.
Not just that.
And feel functional.
Yeah.
I just really quick want to give credit. I think the game system that figured it out is actually the Lego games, where there is a balancing, like as 2 characters wander, a line appears and starts to split the screen.
Yes.
To directionally, and then will recorrect as you come back to each other. But not every game can do that.
Here's the difference with that. The Lego games, those are narratively go through a single player.
Yeah.
So they're only processing that level.
Right.
When you have an open world PS5 Batman game, you have to process both open worlds at the exact same time on small screens. That you cannot run that. You need a
Except that one game.
You need a PS6 for that, but that's not a multiplayer game.
No, I know.
That's why I'm still not sold on that game.
Sure.
Because you have to sell me on, can you actually run 2 worlds at the same time? So I get why split screen would be a problem, because you would need a PS6 for that kind of shit.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. But still, since we're still in quarantine and we all have PS4s, that shouldn't be a problem. Like hitting one of the subs, like, who's free? Cool, let's go play some golf.
It's on PS4.
Oh, PS5. Sorry.
It's next gen game. It's coming out next year.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm super stoked, especially now knowing that I don't need to play it online.
This whole thing.
But you can play it with one of us,
and it won't hinder it at all.
Great.
So how did that savings for the PS5 come along, guys?
I've already got the money set aside.
Pretty good.
Oh,
I still have a regular job.
Ben, we were all on unemployment with benefits for a while. We knew what was coming.
All right. Then the Sandman universe started. This is Neil Gaiman just talking about Sandman universe with some of the people writing it. That was good. Did anyone watch that? Anyone have anything to say about that?
I didn't watch that one.
I didn't watch it.
Did they talk about the audio play?
Yeah, they said they want to do more. They want to do more.
That was that's apparently Audible's most successful thing that's ever been made. Like, that's the most downloaded thing they've ever made, is that Sandman audio drama, which is, that blows my mind that enough people care about Sandman that it actually breaks #1. That makes me so happy.
They just talked about the Netflix show. They're going to start casting again now that things are kind of getting a little better.
Cool.
Wherever he is. I don't know where he is. Then the Multiverse 101 panel. And I found this very interesting. Did anyone watch this one?
Yeah, I saw it.
Mm-hmm. This had Greg Berlanti, Jim Lee, Walter Hamada, and Tiffany Smith was the moderator. That's all the 4.
Yes.
And they just talked about their departments, comics, movies, TV shows, and how they want to basically do what we've been saying that they're probably doing, building that kind of multiverse.
Yeah, this panel basically confirmed exactly what I thought it was going to confirm, which is Jim Lee going, all media exists in the multiverse, and all of it is connected, and we can pull from anything at any time. And they said, yeah, that's it. That's true. That's why we did the Ezra Miller thing. It's because we're going to now say that this is all multiverse and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. And they also talked about...
It's smart play at this point.
Yeah.
I agree. They also talked about how, like, the Batman in its own separate universe, Joker in its own separate universe, the Snyderverse in its own thing, whatever. They talk about, like, we're way more open to just embracing it in film and then in TV and then in comics.
So I will say, I know they said that the Batman's a separate universe, and I'm just going to say, I think for now. But I don't think it will stay that way post a certain Flash movie.
Right. Speaking of, that was the next panel. Introducing Flash.
Oh, real quick.
That was a panel.
Real quick, the multiverse panel. The very first question was about Watchmen, and Jim Lee's response was, we don't have any plans to put the characters into, like, the minutia small stuff, but they will be involved more in the event stuff. And that just broke my heart.
Well, but he said specifically that we're just interested in exploring the Watchmen universe. We won't have any more crossovers.
I thought he said something about, like, the Watchmen stuff would definitely still be...
hold on. I wish we had the exact quote.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure what was asked is they asked, will there be more crossing over in the comics between Watchmen and the DC characters? He said, well, we have Rorschach coming out. Mm-hmm. There isn't really planned for there to be any more, like, we wouldn't be doing it in small ways. It would be saved for big event stuff if it were to happen.
Yeah.
So it's not a no and it's not a yes.
It's a yes. Yeah. It's a yes. Dr. Manhattan is on their billboard. It's a yes.
And see, I again, sucks we don't have the quote, but I heard it as we're not interested in doing any more crossovers. We're more interested in exploring the world of Watchmen. But
I hope that's true.
Yeah. The next panel was the Flash, introducing Flash with Chokes a Girl Ezra Miller.
You're right.
Before FanDome, and I figured out why this was before FanDome. It's because the contract was just signed and the panel was already recorded because all the panels were pre-recorded.
Right.
It was confirmed by the director himself that Ben Affleck is returning to the role of Batman in the Flash film.
Right, which we have to talk about. It is weird. I would think even if you pre-recorded stuff, I would record a new thing to be part of this, to be like, Ben Affleck's in it. That's kind of important for us to talk about since it was leaked 2 or 3 days ago. The fact that the panel didn't address... So I didn't love this 10-minute panel. I didn't think they told me anything really. All they told me is that it's Flashpoint. We're doing multiverse stuff.
Everyone loves
Flashpoint.
I know.
I wanted you to make me care and believe about it, and I'm having a hard time with
Flashpoint and Civil War. The companies will never get away from them.
And I wish that there had been more talk of like, I know they showed the image that's very clearly Michael Keaton's Batman, but that's still concept art. It's not an official confirmation that Keaton's in it. Because we're not there. We did get confirmation about Ben Affleck's
His official
Batman.
Wikipedia page says he's in it, so I'm going to take that as written.
But I mean, like, that would have been a nice place to drop that information or something. The one thing I did appreciate is that the yellow lightning is back very clearly. Forget the Snyder blue lightning stuff, which is stupid, and just because he likes the color blue. I appreciate that.
I'm excited that they're redesigning the costume. That costume is a piece of shit.
Yep.
Christina Hodgson is writing it, and she did Bumblebee and Birds of Prey. So I have no reason not to think that at least the script is going to be dope.
Yeah.
We've all kind of talked to each other about this, not on the podcast, so I guess we should talk about it here. I am glad Ben Affleck's in this movie.
I am too.
I am glad that his Batman is getting kind of a closure piece. It has not been officially said by like the director or anything, but a lot of sources have been saying this is his last appearance as Batman. It's just this. It's a one and done. That's it. And I think that's really nice. I think that's a really nice thing to do transitionally. Certainly if you're doing the multiverse explosion, it's going to change who Batman is in the main Ezra Miller, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa universe.
Yeah.
Then cool. I'm glad you're doing this. That's awesome. I'm super into it. And I like the whole presentation of that. The fact that we're pulling in things that are leading into this bigger multiverse, that Crisis into that. I still just wish the first Flash movie wasn't Flashpoint.
No,
and also like, I kind of want my Flash movie to be about Flash. Why is it about two Batmen?
Why is it about the multiverse? Why does it have to be the first one's about the multiverse?
Because people... I don't know. People who don't know Flash only know Flashpoint, so they think you have to do Flashpoint.
Can I tell you another thing? I think that they wouldn't be pulling so hard on this. We've got to include these other things. We got to do Flashpoint. We got to do multiverse stuff. I don't know they would be pulling so hard on this trigger if they didn't have the Flash, which arguably is the most successful of the CW shows as far as popularity.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that kind of makes them go, well, we got all that Flash. We don't want to do these same things that Flash is doing. We should do something bigger, broader, something that brings people in that's not just like the TV show Flash. And I can kind of understand that being the impetus. It still sucks. See, that's all it is.
Again, so Flashpoint, it's he goes back in time to save his mom. We don't know Barry Allen yet. So like the
Wait for the Snyder Cut, baby. Supposedly he's got a more emotional arc in that.
Okay, sure, yeah. Oh no, him and Cyborg were cut from that movie. I'll be fine with that.
Yeah,
actually,
my thing is just, I was really surprised that after, and you know what, glad after the role almost killed him, he decided to come back.
So there's an interview. I don't know where it's from, but it's with Ana de Armas, and it's a very just like small canon interview about Ben Affleck and how like that dude, he was in a really bad place when he was making Batman, and a lot of people are like, man, I think Ana de Armas might have saved this dude's life, like for real. Because he seems like the happiest he's ever been. And he's like lost weight. And like she said, like he wasn't at a point where he could be Batman. He's back. He's there now. Like he's healthy. He's happy. Like he doesn't want to leave it the way it was. And I'm like, I respect that so much.
I respect that too.
I love, he's my favorite part of that movie, of that BVS movie. I think Ben Affleck brings it so hard. And we'll talk about with Justice League. I'm excited to see that because we get to see the Batman that was in that BVS movie, not in that shitty Justice League, whatever that Batman was. So like, I'm very excited for Batman or for Ben Affleck to get to leave it the way that he wants it to, not in a bad place. Because like that dude went through some bad shit. Like that sucks that he didn't get to leave the legacy of Batman the way he wanted to.
Yeah, and regardless of how I feel about the Snyder Snyder's interpretation of these heroes and things like that. Ben Affleck did a great job as Batman. I can acknowledge that, and I don't want him to leave it on a note where he feels like he didn't get what he wanted out of it, or he underserved. So him coming in for this is really cool, really cool. It just comes back to the like, but I want it to be about Barry Allen. I just wish this was the second movie. I wish we'd already had a Flash movie like 2 or 3 years ago when like they kind of originally wanted
Flash and Cyborg movie,
whatever. Yeah. Like I wish we'd already had that. I wish we'd already had something that grounded us with Ezra Miller's interpretation of Barry before we get another kind of crossover film, because that's all he's had so far.
I would love, because like despite Ezra Miller being an asshole, that dude's really charming, and that dude is really funny, and that dude is a really good actor. I would love to see him just battle a couple rogues just to know who that character is.
Sure.
I don't want your first movie to be the biggest multiversal event of the year when I don't know who you are
but
yet.
That's that we all kind of know we feel that way.
Yeah.
That's not what we're getting. I'm encouraged by what they said in this 10-minute panel. I wish that there had been more to say.
Yeah. I'm encouraged by the director and the writer now, for sure.
Yeah.
Then
one other note, they didn't show a lot of art of it, but they talked about that he has a particular way he wants to display the Speed Force, and that just has me interested.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's going to be, but I'm intrigued that he has some like concept art vision, high concept vision of how the Speed Force is going to look.
Yeah. Then the Beyond Batman panel, which was just Kevin Conroy, Wilfred L., Mystery Science Theatering, Batman 66.
This legitimately might be my favorite thing that I saw today. It's just 5 minutes. Ben, did you see this thing at all by chance?
I didn't watch any of it.
Okay, so it's Batman Beyond. It's Terry McGinnis and Bruce Wayne watching Batman 66 footage and just commenting on it like with silly stuff. Like, wait, why is he doing that? I wouldn't do that.
Are you kidding me? Does the Joker have a mustache?
Yes.
The best bit is this Kevin Conroy just like, I just what, and then Wilfred is like, are you still looking at the mustache? And he's like, it's so mesmerizing.
Yeah, man, it's like 5 minutes. Like, you should definitely at least watch that, if anything, because it's just Kevin Conroy and Will Friedle just having a good time for 5 minutes.
Did they put that up on YouTube, or?
I have no idea.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's on YouTube by now.
All right,
because I watched a lot of the stuff on YouTube.
Because I would probably die laughing if they brought up the footage from Batman, the television, the film with the shark repellent.
No. Yeah. So it's specifically a sequence of events from the clip, and so it's like old man Bruce Wayne like taps into the multiverse and sees this other Earth version, and Wilfred L. can't get over Robin's Speedo look.
Oh.
And he keeps teasing Bruce about what's happening, and Bruce is like, that's not me.
That's not me. It was kind of you.
It was very cute. It's the kind of material that you wish that they would have the ability to play in between panels at a con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was like a lot of like, is it Aardman who made those?
I don't think it's Aardman, but those are older shorts, but they are really well done. The little clay figures. Yeah. Doing like children's voices as DC heroes and villains. It's really cute.
All the interspliced like stuff between panels I thought was really fun. Like, there wasn't anything that was just wasted. It was like Jim Lee talking to people about their art, or it was just random interviews with actors. It was like the claymation stuff. Like, again, like I think this whole thing was made really well.
All right, so I think I found it on YouTube, so I'll probably give that a watch later tonight.
Cool.
Then the Suicide Squad panel started,
and that brought the house down, in my opinion.
100%.
Did anyone have an idea that what the movie was going to look like? Like,
no, and I'm so excited.
Okay, so guys, there's a leak online about who the villain for the movie is. Do you want to know who it might be?
Sure.
Brandon, you're going to lose your shit. You have one guess. Now, I want you to think about it. Think of a recent character in a comic book that's so crazy. So crazy. It's recent. It's in death metal. I'll even give you that. It's unbelievable.
Lobo?
It's Starro.
Yes. You're shitting me.
The rumor is that Starro is the actual villain. That's why we haven't seen anything. He's mind controlling all of these people.
Look, James Gunn, I'd believe it.
This might be the greatest movie ever made.
Are you shitting me? We're getting Starro and Suicide Squad and not a Justice League movie?
It's a rumor, but like... like there's a military general who's the villain, but like he might be being mind controlled by a villain. Like
we had no idea who the cast was until now. They said everyone, baby. You know what? I'm going to go through the list.
Go through it.
Idris Elba has been confirmed to play Bloodsport. Obviously, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. John Cena as Peacemaker. Viola Davis returning as Amanda Waller. Jai Courtney returning as Captain Boomerang. Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag. Woohoo. David Dastmalchian confirmed to play Polka Dot Man. Daniela Melchior as Ratcatcher 2. Steve Agee. Smoke Captain.
So
King Shark.
You guys have seen Harley Quinn? That dude sounds a lot like Ron Funches.
Yeah.
He is going to be just like that. It's like, I can't wait, guys.
King Shark is coming. Man, King Shark fans win.
Bring up
Really?
Max. I think that's hilarious.
All right. Sean Gunn as Weasel.
I saw so much tweets of the picture of King Shark and then just King Shark is a shark.
Yeah.
But like I fucking hate that line in that anime movie, but I respect what you're saying.
Yeah.
Flula Borg as Javelin. Nathan Fillion as TDK.
So for some reason, we know who that character is. He's Arms Fall Off Boy.
Yeah.
He's a character who he can rip his arms off and grow them back. So I don't know why they're not just naming him. That's super weird. So I think he might have like a special part of the movie that they don't want to reveal. But it's so weird that he doesn't actually get named because he's just a dude whose arms fall off.
Peter Capaldi as the Thinker. He looks so good.
Is the Thinker that villain from The Flash who sat in that chair?
Yeah.
Shit, dude. That's crazy.
I can't tell you enough how excited I am about Peter Capaldi as the Thinker.
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind about it.
Yeah.
All right. Pete Davidson as Blackguard. Alice Braga as Solsoria.
She's in New Mutants.
Mei Ling Ng as Mongal. Sorry.
Mongal.
Mongal.
Michael Rooker as Savant. Storm Reed as Tyla, Bloodsport's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer Holland as Amelia Harcourt. And Juan Diego Bota as Luna, El Presidente.
Yeah. This whole cast is crazy. And you don't have a cast of like 15 people in a Suicide Squad movie if you're not going to kill most of them. So, guys, this is a rated R 1970s war comedy starring like the greatest actors of our generation. Like, I just don't. Plus, maybe it has a giant starfish in it.
It looks. The behind the scenes featurette that we saw is awesome.
It's like better than a trailer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like it gets you pumped. This might have been like next to the Batman. Like this. Actually, I think some people are more excited for this because they didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I'm
Why I am excited for the Batman. Honestly, this took, and the Wonder Woman 1984 trailer. I was pumped, but this took the cake. I was like, this is so exciting.
It feels like
this
so much
is
like
the movie
James
where,
Gunn.
like, if I could rush to one of the movies they were talking about, this is the one I want to see right away.
This comes out in exactly like 1 year,
and I'm so glad that I get to say that about the Suicide Squad movie.
right? Yeah, 100%.
On the FanDome website, they had a secret DC Comics.
I just want to talk about how James Gunn talked about that he's bringing over one of the visual effects guys from the MCU. He said that there are more visual effects explosions and things like that in Suicide Squad than all of the Marvel movies he's worked on combined.
He said this is the biggest movie he's ever made, and we've seen Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a cosmic event. So this like old school war movie is going to be bigger than that. Like, oh baby,
I'm so excited. All right, so they had a secret DC Comics event. What was that going to be? It sounded like Endless Winter. It wasn't. It was Milestone Comics.
This was somewhat leaked like a day early, but Newsarama, they kept posting multiple articles of like what's that secret DC event? We'll find out in a mile. ... Stone. Just like a lot of silly things, just like referencing and like, wow, like this really famous '90s guy who worked on Milestone is going to be at DC at 1:45. Wonder what it's about. So it wasn't so much a secret, but like a very nice surprise.
Right.
Yeah. Milestone Comics has not been published for a long time. We first heard about kind of a revival, I think about last year. But now we got like, hey, this is happening. It's going to launch with a Static Shock digital series. The previous Milestone comics that were published will start being published digitally come September of this year, in the lead up to the launch. What was really interesting, though, was that not only is Static Shock getting 2 new comics, one a graphic novel for YA audiences, which beautiful, is that they're talking about a live-action movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so
Did they
stoked.
also say something about a TV show as well?
A podcast and animated features.
Okay, yeah,
for Milestone comics altogether.
Right.
Yeah, they're going super hard, which is fantastic. Hey, we were all like babies when Milestone was around, so none of us were reading those comics, right? And then they're all out of print, so even if we wanted to, we couldn't without spending like hundreds of dollars. Milestone was honestly a groundbreaking thing in the 90s for diversity. There's it's all diverse characters, and that's awesome. And unfortunately, it didn't sell like it needed to. So Static Shock was successful. It got a TV show and everything, right?
What an incredible gift!
Yeah,
being given this second.
And
life.
if you watch that panel, they were talking about how like nobody was doing this at the time, and so like it was really them like shaping the future, and it fortunately didn't pan out the way they wanted to.
A lot of these characters now exist in the DC universe.
Yeah. And it's really nice that they're not going hard like with like 12 titles all at once like X-Men or something. Like they're starting small, but it's really nice that considering DC just had all those layoffs, this is still going forward, because like this could have been a seriously bad situation of AT&T just cutting this off early, and that would have been really bad. So it's really great that Milestone's coming back. Like so many more diverse characters are going to get the limelight. Movies, TV shows, podcasts. Like it's not bad.
I mean, like, and we've talked about like DC's current comic lineup and everything, and how Marvel's kind of beating them in the diversity spectrum, because pretty much every title happening right now is led by white people, and both behind the scenes and on the comic, which isn't a terrible thing, but it's nice to see this sea change happening.
Yeah. And there's another book we'll talk about too that's just adding to this.
All right, then after that, it happened. The Snyder Cut.
Oh, that was next?
That was next. That was the next panel.
Hot dog.
This was Zack Snyder being asked questions by the cast and then interviewing his followers.
I do want to say that it was really nice just to see Henry Cavill attached to something DC related again.
Yeah.
It was.
He's also on the set of The Witcher. So that's why he's wearing a hat. Can't see his head.
I'm so excited.
Anyway, seeing Henry Cavill in a Superman suit again, it was like, okay, that's good.
Well, we're talking about his question. So Ben, because you didn't watch the panel, what had happened was Zack Snyder had his little thing, and he had his cast ask him questions from fans, and then he brought in a fan to talk to.
So this was the most recent thing we've seen of Henry Cavill being involved with DC, because he did it while he's on the set of The Witcher, calling and asking a question.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be honest, like, now knowing that the girl that he interviewed is also one of the major harassers in the movement, like, I found the whole thing very annoying.
It's really unfortunate because, like, again, like I besides the bad fans, I respect the people who really they didn't get the movie they wanted. Imagine we saw, a bunch of MCU movies that were the MCU, and then the Avengers was a Zack Snyder movie. Like, that would suck, right? I 100% understand not getting the Justice League movie you want, okay? But that doesn't excuse like the harassment or the abuse, all that stuff. But there are fans who really want it. It's just so crazy to me that, like, of the 2 fans that they talked to, one of them is a super racist. And you can find all of her tweets online about how she's really racist and gross. And it's like, oh, I know she was one of the people who was like the start of the Snyder Cut, but like, man, you guys could have got anyone else, because like that lady that was talking, she's got some bad history.
Right.
That other guy's fine, but that girl has some tweets she should talk about. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is like that it's unfortunate that, there never will be an acknowledgement of the viciousness of the Snyder Cult movement. Yeah. I was telling Ryan that, like, really what the panel was up to the trailer felt like the Snyder Cult's victory lap.
Yeah.
where they get to go, sorry, Brandon, I was just saying that the panel up to the trailer just felt like the Snyder Cult's victory lap. And it's a shame that there's never going to be a moment where Zack Snyder condemns the behavior that led to this, because he won and they won. And again, like, I cannot separate enough. I disagree with Zack Snyder's interpretation of these characters for the most part. I do see some value in some of the things. I even see some things where I need to revisit what's good about them. But that being said, overall, I don't like them. However, I completely understand and agree with someone getting the opportunity, especially surrounded by the family tragedy he was, to be able to tell the story he wanted to tell. I respect it creatively. However, the movement and the acceptance of the movement that led to it, and like, you don't have to look far for the people who, like, the moment the Snyder Cut was announced, were coming after the people who didn't like the movie because they don't like the movie. And that's the thing, is like, and I will acknowledge there's definitely the people on the other side who harass the people who like the Snyder movie. Definitely happens.
I know we do it every once in a while. We try to be better about it. I know I do it.
But that movement had a lot of bad shit, and I wish that there would be some acknowledgement of, like, I wish Zack Snyder were the kind of person who could come out and say, hey, I'm really glad this is happening. I definitely think that there were some wonky ways of how we got here. I do not agree with a lot of the harassment. I think that everybody has the right to either enjoy or dislike the movie. Instead, he said that it's a movie for grown-ups, and people who like cartoons wouldn't understand. So yeah.
It's hard for me to give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm trying so hard. I'm trying so hard.
Yeah, I just, when he said the grown-up line, like, he tweeted that out like 2 hours before this panel, I was already checked out.
I know.
Yeah. I will say.
But
I will
say.
Oh, no, you go.
Oh, sorry, the trailer is out. It's a full screen. It's weirdly full screen. Why? But it is out. It is out.
Yeah.
So there's that, and it will be a 4-hour-long series.
Yeah, so it's a miniseries. It's hour-long miniseries. That he originally said maybe it might be like a 6-part thing. I'm personally happy with like a 4-hour mini cut. The problem is he says we're making it in 4-hour chunks, but also you could watch it as a movie. Movies and TV shows are not the same thing. They're made differently.
Well, I was going to say what I said to Brandon on Twitter, because Brandon was talking about how large this was, and I'm like, here's the thing: he wasn't filming a 4-hour movie when he filmed it.
Yeah,
he was filming a movie like other people film movies, and then going to cut things down. Mm-hmm. This sounds like there will be very little, like, maybe you should have cut that consideration taken into this, because you got to make it worth it for it to now be the Snyder Cut.
Yeah,
and that's weird and a bummer.
Yeah. I will always. This has been my thing with this thing is I would much rather watch a bad Justice League than the studio mandated fine Justice League that we got, because there's no personality in that movie. That movie is 90. It's just, is it 2 hours? What is it? 2 hours, 90 minutes?
It's like 2 hours, 10 minutes.
Okay, that movie is it's just a fine movie. There's no depth. There's none of the Snyder trying to be smart, even if he's not, which I'd rather have, because that's what Zack Snyder tries to do. So again, I am so much more excited after seeing this trailer and seeing all the new footage. Darkseid looks like shit. That movie's not coming out for a year. The CGI is not done. It's gonna probably still look like shit anyway. Desaad, I'm glad Desaad's in this movie. I think Desaad's.
Oh, that's who that was.
Yeah, Desaad's cool.
No, look, when I first saw Desaad, I thought that was freaking Corset, what something Glaive. Corvus Glaive, yeah. He looks so much. I was like, hold up, I've seen you before. You're from Avengers. How'd you get up in here?
So here's my thing. I look at like movies like Eternals. You know, those are Kirby characters designed, and in the movie they're carrying on the color, like the Kirby-esque bright, fun colors, even if the situation may not be. You contrast that with the New Gods, who are also Jack Kirby-like characters.
Yeah.
Who the hell said gray?
Zack Snyder.
I splashed some color on that man. Especially,
I agree. I think, man. I would probably prefer the Joss Whedon look, But like again, like just for consistency of Zack Snyder's movies, I'm okay with the way this thing looks because this is his movie.
Mhm.
All those New Gods characters like look bad. Like I'm not going to defend that. We are getting a New Gods movie with Tom King writing the script with Ava DuVernay, and he talked about that. He's still writing it. I'm like, these can't be the same characters, right? Because that's not going to look like this, right? And it's not, because this is Zack Snyder's universe. You're going to have the Batman in its own universe. You got the Joker doing its thing. You got the New Gods doing its own thing. This is a situation for me where you get to have your cake and eat it too. You don't like the Snyderverse? Guess what? Don't watch it. You got the Batman. You got Wonder Woman 84. There's no reason to continue to be mean for something that's going to happen. We lost. It sucks. We lost. But I'd rather accept it and try to be positive about it than just be a Snyder Cut person and be negative. So
he makes it very hard.
Be better than that, Brandon. Two wrongs don't make a right. So I'm excited for this movie.
I'm not attacking him.
No, I know. I'm excited for this mini series. It's probably still going to be bad. I'm not saying it's good, but I would rather get this than the Justice League we got. And I remember reviewing that movie positively, thinking back, I was stupid. I'm an idiot. I'm dumb. That movie is soulless. I watched some clips and I'm like, oh wow, I'm so excited for Bruce Wayne Batman, the Zack Snyder Batman, because that's not the Batman in the Joss Whedon one. That's a funny Batman. That's a Batman who's got money. And I'm like, F that. Give me that dark Batman. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. Because that's not a Batman wearing a wig. That's the Batman. That's a Ben Affleck who's there to be an actor. That's not a reshoot Batman. That's Batman. So the performances are always going to be better because they're not reshoots. It's not going to look bad. It's not going to look different. At least it'll be consistent to the bad movies he made before. That's what I'm excited about.
Ben,
what about you?
I hope that this doesn't. The one thing that I want to carry on from Joss Whedon's Justice League, everybody knows, is Superman. And I hope that this doesn't trap Henry Cavill's interpretation or Warner Brothers' perception of how they should show Superman in films back into nobody likes the 2017 Justice League, so not Superman like that. Because that's the one thing that should escape. This hellstorm of what this has become. Yeah. Overall, I agree with you. We just have to make the best of a bad situation. In a sense, it's really no different than like when we were originally going to be going into the Justice League to begin with. Except, this is weird because there can't be a conclusion to this, not a real one.
Yeah.
This is setting up a battle with Darkseid that didn't film an ending. And foreseeably never will. That's weird. That is a weird space to live in.
Yeah.
To be seeing this.
I imagine the finale will be like the Avengers finale, but if Thanos showed up.
It is weird. You know what? It is weird to live in a moment where we are anticipating, whether in a positive way or a negative way, we are anticipating a film that represents a already dead universe.
Yeah.
Where there will be no continuation and we know it.
Also, there will be no footage from that original movie in this movie. So we're getting an entirely fresh movie. And for me, that's very exciting. Like, we're not getting a movie. We're getting a fresh-ass 4-hour new Justice League. And for me, I'm getting another Justice League movie. So, like, good or bad, I'm still getting it. I find that exciting.
Yeah. So I didn't watch the panel. All I watched was the trailer. And when I first saw, like, the first thing you see when you click the thumbnail is Darkseid. And I had to convince myself that was Darkseid. If it wasn't for the giant Omega symbol on the chest, I'm like, that can't be Darkseid. Is that Darkseid?
Chest hair.
What?
He's got chest hair.
Hold on, Ben.
What?
It's not Darkseid.
It's not?
Ben, no, it's Uxas. Deep cut, baby. It's Darkseid before he was Darkseid.
Yeah, they're doing. Yeah.
Oh, they're doing that.
Not wrong.
I'm not wrong. That's what he said. That's what that is.
Okay.
Darkseid. Yeah, because if you remember Justice League, that's probably when he goes. That's when he fights. There's that montage, or not montage. There's that flashback of
the
that
Green
giant
Lanterns
war.
and the Amazonians.
Yes. So instead of fighting Steppenwolf, they're fighting Darkseid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Brandon. I hated Darkseid's color palette. It's like, where's the blue? I mean, I know Darkseid's gray.
Put some color on the.
Where's the blue?
Kirby.
Make the eyes brighter red.
You're doing Kirby. You're doing Kirby.
Yeah.
You're doing Jack Kirby. Put some color in there.
Yeah. I'll just pretend that's like Darkseid's like little brother.
Like you're doing Superman, and Superman's been muted for 2 movies.
Bro, he's gonna be in a black suit this whole movie.
I know.
Oh god, that's right. They're bringing the black suit.
We got the colored Justice League. You can watch that movie. You own it.
I know.
You don't like. This is not the colored Justice League. This is the gray and black. Like I'm not expecting that. I got that movie.
Yeah,
it's whatever.
Yeah,
it's just hard for me to be. It's just hard for me to. Care.
Oh no, trust me, I get it. I will say the one thing I agree with Zack Snyder is he didn't like when Superman said, "Do you bleed?" when he's fighting the Justice League. That's the one thing I do agree with him. I'm like, I also don't agree Batman should have said it, but I like that you think Superman should say it. At least you're trying, bud. At least you're trying.
I mean, actually, I like that moment.
You like that moment because it's making fun of Zack Snyder's moment.
You know what? I actually didn't read it as making fun of. I thought it was homage.
Yeah.
It was just a callback. Anyway, all right. The Flash TV show had a panel. Did anyone watch that?
Really done, but okay.
Oh, go ahead, Ben.
Oh no, sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
So besides Darkseid, the whole time I was watching this trailer, I was done with it. I mean, you guys know what side of this whole Snyder Cut, no Snyder Cut I've been on, and I mean, I am a little excited that we get to see something we've never seen, because I do remember bits and pieces of that Justice League movie. Because when I first saw it, I liked it. I don't love it. I liked it. And now I think back on it, I was like, yeah, that wasn't that good. But we got it, and that's what we got. So,
you know what I'm excited for is Cyborg. Because that one scene with his dad was actually dope. I
was actually looking more forward to seeing more Cyborg stuff, because one of the things that I was really bummed is that, because we see Vic playing football and how good he is, we never got that in the original. He was already Cyborg when that movie starts.
They filmed that sequence when they were filming Batman v Superman.
Mm-hmm. And now that we actually get to see a really good scene with his dad in a mother box, is like, oh, this is gonna probably have some good tragedy. We're gonna get some more Cyborg and Flash. All right, that's cool. I like that.
Like the whole thing with Cyborg is like that dude was built from a mother box, so like he could be like a secret like enemy without anyone knowing it, and that's like a whole aspect of the movie that's just gone.
Yeah.
So like if any of that shows up in this movie, that it's a little kernel where I'm like, cool, there might be something instead of just surface level Justice League.
I mean, who knows? This might actually be a really good thing. This might not be bad, and I mean, who knows? Am I gonna watch it? Yeah, I'm gonna watch it, because I'm still kind of interested in seeing Zack's whole 100% vision. That's 100% him.
Gal Gadot. I still got Ben Affleck. I got Jason Momoa. Like I like that cast. I'll watch them for one more outing.
Yeah,
I have zero desire to see this movie.
Yeah, but the only thing that worries me a lot are the fans once this movie's done. Because Sparks, you said it, we're not going to get anything else after this. This is a dead universe. Well, at least we think it is. If the Snyder Cut fan, or as we've been calling it, the Snyder Cult fans, after we get this, and there's supposed to be a lead up to a bigger battle with Darkseid, with whomever, there could a new hashtag could pop up saying "Revive the Snyderverse." And
no, it will happen. I think luckily, unless the thing makes like $1 billion, and I don't know how it could, because
it's streaming.
Because it's free, but also he did say he's going to find other ways to stream it, so you can probably buy it on Apple or whatever.
I don't think that's even what he said. He said distribution, so I think that there's going to be a Blu-ray release.
Yeah,
I think that Zack Snyder will make that happen, because HBO Max has been a weird launch, so it's not available in a ton of markets, and it looks like that will continue to be the case. I actually respect and appreciate that he's like, we're going to try and get it to the audiences that want to see it that don't have access to HBO Max. Totally, I get it. Yeah, cool. I wish people were more like that about physical media in general. I'm not going to knock you for wanting that.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
I did want to talk real quick. The tone. I just, even with what you're saying, I feel like the tone of the trailer was weird.
No, because Hallelujah's a bad choice, because you already used that in the movie once.
Yeah, that was it. That was a weird. It was a whole weird presentation. It wasn't what I expected from this. Even knowing what Zack Snyder does, I was like, this is such an odd tone, such an odd thing to live in. What a weird moment.
It also feels a little like self-congratulating, like Hallelujah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Also, somebody made an Endgame trailer using Hallelujah, calling it like the Zack Snyder edition, and it's just Endgame with Hallelujah. And I'm like, that's not.
I saw it too.
That's not a Zack Snyder movie. That's just using the same song he used.
It looked bad.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm done with this. Right. I'm done.
I'll let you know how it is when it comes out.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, as Sparks has reminded me, we'll probably have to do it for the podcast. All right. The Flash TV show had a panel. Anybody watch that? Probably not, right?
Nope, we did.
No, we did.
What did you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still watching that show, so.
Yeah.
They're in a weird place because of coronavirus. Like everything they were showing in the sizzle reel, none of it's the new stuff for the next season. It's actually like the real end of season 6. That's now the beginning of season 7.
Yeah.
Because they haven't gone back to filming yet. So it's a weird place to live, and it's weird that like that kind of thing has now been carried into this big season opening carryover. But I know I'm not the only one who felt this way. It looks like the guy who plays Cisco, Carlos Valdez, is done. And I wish that they would just let him. That honestly, like if you're watching the show, to me, like it's not just that Cisco's character has been written poorly for the past couple seasons. I don't think Carlos likes playing him anymore, and I don't think he's been written well for the past couple seasons. That might have a lot to do with it. Like if he doesn't like doing it, he should leave.
Yeah.
Honestly, like he doesn't look like he's enjoying it like he used to when they started.
I will say I am like
both on and off screen,
like a season and a half or like 2 seasons behind, but like. These trailers always do a good job of making me want to watch it.
Yeah.
I thought this was a good trailer.
Yeah.
Like, that's not always indicative of the season, but, like, I think that was a pretty good trailer.
Yes. I mean, like, overall, I think Flash is doing better now than it was in its middle.
The Mirror Master stuff looks super cool.
It
looks so cool.
Look,
man.
I talked to Ryan about this. I can't deny that I'm really pissed that they made Iris really competent and like functional and have a lot of good ideas and even good points against things that Barry thought were smart. And she's like, actually, I think this. And it was like, that's a good point. And the entire time that was happening, it was actually an evil version of Iris and not the real Iris.
It was a mirror universe.
That really sucks that you made her the character I wanted her to be and she was bad.
Yeah, that's a shame.
All right, then the Black Adam trailer panel. Sorry.
The Black Adam
Boss Logic motion comic?
What? There was a trailer for Black Adam?
No, there was a motion trailer, which basically gives Black Adam's history, which is probably going to be with the movie.
Oh, okay.
So they did reveal in that panel that Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher are all going to be in the movie.
I'm going to get Dr. Fate!
As the Justice Society of America.
Yes.
So
okay. I'm happy with it.
Yeah. I remember when it was first announced that Atom Smasher was going to be in this movie, and I'm like that's a cool like a smaller character, but it's just so odd to have him be the singular like old school character show up in this Black Adam movie. It's weird that he's the guy. But now that you tell me that the rest of the JSA is showing up, it makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious if this is a period piece movie. If this is them dealing with, because like if it's a Justice Society, it could just be an alternate world. But if this takes place in like World War II or even after, and it leads up to like when Black Adam is like imprisoned and escapes or whatever, I think that could be really dope.
Even before, or even in the 1930s.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they want to tie Black Adam in with Shazam.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously the representation of the person who had the power before in the Shazam movie is The Rock. It's very clearly The Rock. So it is meant to be connected.
Isn't the wizard Jimon Hunsu?
Yeah, when they show the motion comic, it's the same wizard. It's definitely tied to Shazam. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Shazam is tied into... Well, I assume it is tied into whatever Wonder Woman and Aquaman are now, just not necessarily the Snyder version of things. Yeah, I think that's good. I think the canon facts of where continuity worked before are going to get a little loose and weird.
Mm-hmm.
I did like, I saw on Twitter, it was like a banner of The Rock's face, but it said, "I said it first."
Yeah.
I really like that tagline, to be perfectly honest.
I actually thought this was it started really weird because like it looks like they're in Kahndaq and like they're in this like giant mausoleum, like the CG mausoleum. And
it looked like the Mummy too.
It looked like the Mummy too. And then just the Rock is there, a t-shirt and jeans, going, "What's up, Comic-Con?" or whatever. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. But I thought it was one of the better panels because the Rock obviously is
he's so charismatic.
He's so charismatic, and he answered all these fun questions and like actually questions that like I was curious about. And like he's really hitting home the fact that like the Rock always plays heroes. Black Adam is not a hero. He is an anti-hero. He can be a villain at times. And The Rock really cemented the fact that, like, yo, this dude will do whatever it takes to beat you. And I'm like, that's awesome because I'm tired of The Rock playing just good guys. Same with Will Smith. Like, you guys can have some nuance. It's okay. We'll allow it. Mm-hmm. I'm very stoked. And then again, the JSA, like, Hawkman.
That news was topper. And I am excited that Dwayne Johnson basically flat out said, yeah, I'm gonna come for the whole Justice League eventually.
Yeah,
which I believe that they'll let him because he's The Rock, and I'm like, I'm sure. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if The Rock is the reason we get the next Justice League movie.
Yeah.
No, the fact that they're bringing because full thing. Dr. Fate's actually my favorite JSA member. I love Dr. Fate, and he's in a movie. I'm excited. I'm super stoked for this.
It was the double header of Hawkman and Dr. Fate. Where I was like, okay, cool.
So, I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter. The Rock posted it was originally supposed to be a Hawk Girl, but because behind the scenes problems, they couldn't do it, and he'll tell you about it way later. So I bet there's some gross sexism that The Rock was trying to get over, and they were like, no, make him Hawkman. So I'm very curious about that story because, hey man, Hawk Girl's pretty cool too. You can have both.
Daniel Jackson from Stargate SG-1 was Hawkman in Smallville.
Yeah, barista, 6 months, baby.
We'll see who's playing our new JSA. I'm very pumped for Black Adam.
Me too.
I am too. I was so curious, how far in development are they? It's that, the way he was talking, cool, they sound like they got the script done. But then he was talking to Noah, who plays Atom Smash. He was like, yeah, I was looking at the previs of all the fights, and I'm like, you don't do previs unless you're pre-production in a movie. So I'm like, oh shit, that movie's happening.
No, I used to think that Black Adam was just that thing that DC said, hey, we're making it, and then they just swept quietly.
If you recall, Ben, he was the first person cast when they released the first ever DCEU lineup before Batman v Superman came out.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Brandon, we can't forget you bring it up on the podcast anytime Black Adam comes up.
Listen, it's a tale as old as time. The Rock and Black Adam. This panel got me really stoked. We're getting the GSA on multiple fronts. We're getting movie stuff. We're getting an animated show. They're in the comics right now with Injustice. Everything you love comes back eventually. It's
love
really
the JSA.
Yeah.
All right.
I wonder if they have this stuff tight enough where we're going to see a Jay Garrick in the Flashpoint because of this.
If they were smart,
we'll see.
If they were smart, they do that.
I would be okay if we see Jay Garrick in Flashpoint.
After that was the Titans panel.
Didn't watch.
They did say that they're going to bring in Scarecrow and Barbara Gordon next season.
We knew about Barbara.
I'm hella stoked.
I think we actually even knew about Scarecrow, but that might be new.
We were only a couple episodes away, right? From the four. Okay.
And then one other character. That's a spoiler. I won't say.
Did it make you want to watch it? Any of the clips from it?
Honestly,
know they showed
good
Superboy stuff.
I like the Superboy stuff.
Season 2's good.
Season 2 is miles better than Season 1. Yep. Outside of the Hawk and Dove stuff is still quality choice from Season 1, for sure.
Yeah, seeing Crypto was cool.
Yeah. It's nice that that's getting another season.
Oh, yeah, there's Crypto, baby.
Oh, that's awesome.
With laser eyes and everything.
Even better.
He and Superboy fight a whole bunch of Luthor Corp agents on a farm. But not the farm you think.
Oh.
All right, and then the Aquaman panel, which was just Patrick Wilson and James Wan gabbing.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Then the Harley.
I wanted them to talk about I wish they would have talked about the HBO Max series just a little.
Me too. Then the Harley Q&A, which was just Harley Quinn from the Harley Quinn animated series, just answering questions in a cool little animation.
She was asked the question I thought she would be asked, which is, will there be a season 3? And she's like, boy, I hope so.
Yeah, no confirmation, but I don't think they would do that unless...
Yeah.
They wouldn't use that question unless it was probably happening.
Yeah. And she was asked, F, marry, kill. And she was like, well, F, Wonder Woman, kill Batman and Superman, and marry Ivy, duh. The Wonder Woman 80th panel, I missed that one. That was Gal Gadot and what's her name?
Linda Carter?
Linda Carter. And Patty Jenkins just chatting, talking.
Nice.
They were talking about the legacy of Wonder Woman, and they revealed the Wonder Woman 80th logo.
Oh, there's one of the smaller panels that I would just quickly want to talk about. There was the voices of Batman, and it's all the voices of Batman from around the world. So it's Will Arnett talking to the Hindi Batman, the Spanish Batman, the Russian Batman. Yo, guys, the Hindi Batman might be the best. That dude is so sick. He's got the coolest voice, like the Spanish and French Batman. I'm like, man, I never considered, you're so like Batman. I never considered it. That's just a fun little 10-minute thing you should watch.
Yeah. I did enjoy that. I enjoyed that immensely. Tomorrow's superheroes. Speaking of Batman, they talked about just kind of legacy of of what new characters could be, and took the opportunity to give us more confirmation on the John Ridley Batman book. It was announced earlier this week that he was doing that. Before that, we had suspicions he was doing it for 5G, whatever that was. But now we know it is going to be a 4-part miniseries, which will introduce a new Black Batman.
Yeah, and it's I don't know if any of the like Lucius Fox or any of them or Luke Fox if that's who it is, but he said that the Foxes are heavily involved with the story, which is great. I'm very curious if this was the plan that got turned into a miniseries.
I think so.
Because these are things we've been hearing about for a while, which is good. Like, I want this book to come out. I'm very curious about it.
I think this was meant to be the next Batman ongoing.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, maybe trim it down. Let's make it a mini because we canceled all that shit. Yeah.
But he did say like it's going to have huge ramifications for the DC universe, for Batman in general. So
it's always interesting when you have a miniseries do that because not everyone reads the minis. You know? I'm not against it. It's just like interesting choice.
But that's cool. I'm excited. He's coming up with the other history of the DC universe soon. He's really cool. Shazam had a panel, which I thought was fun. They did it on Shazoom. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did.
But they couldn't say anything, and Zachary Levi kind of made some fun over that. The Chris Daugherty performance was awesome.
It was all right.
It was okay.
I liked it.
I just thought it was interesting and out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Did you see his Deadpool statue dressed up like Batman?
His Batpool?
Yeah.
I will say I always knew that dude was a super fan. So I'll give him. I'll be a little more lenient on having a random acoustic performance in this Comic-Con. That has a lot of cool Batman merch. I'll say that.
All I could think when the kids besides Faith were popping up for the Shazam panels, I'm like, they're already too old.
Getting old.
They're already too old.
Oh, did you see the joke that David Sandberg made on Twitter about it? It's this fake Shazam sequel. The kids all have mustaches.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them literally has a mustache, and I'm like, they're already old.
Yeah, they released the title.
Yes.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
Yes, and they announced a new cast member.
Oh, Sinbad.
Yeah, Sinbad.
Yes.
Sinbad?
That was funny.
Really?
Sinbad!
Do you get it?
No, he doesn't get it.
No.
I think I do, actually.
So Kazam is a real movie that came out starring Shaq.
Hell yeah. He's a genie in a boombox.
Shazam, starring Sinbad, is the movie everybody thinks that is.
Wait, is Sinbad actually in the movie, or are they just making a joke?
You know what? It's not 100% clear.
Because I wasn't sure if they were just making a joke, but like everyone's reporting Sinbad's in this movie. And
so I will be clear. It is really not clear.
Yeah.
Like you could watch it, and here's the thing. I think it probably was a joke for this, and now it will be real.
A meme turned real.
Yeah. Then it was the Wonder Woman 1984 cast play Werewolf 1984.
Hold on, sorry, because Ben didn't watch it. I want to be clear. Sinbad was on the panel talking about it being the movie. This wasn't just like, oh yeah, Sinbad's going to be in it. It was an offhanded joke. It was a whole gag where Sinbad got in on the call and he's like, I'm getting fit. I'm pumping up. I'm going to be in this movie. They drew him into the poster.
Oh, wow.
He's really gunning for it.
He even said there was a joke where one of the kids was like, don't you mean Kazam too? And he's like, I'm in that too, baby.
Oh, Sinbad.
All right, so then the Wonder Woman 1984 cast play Werewolf 1984. It's a cute little thing. The Wonder Woman cast playing this game.
Apparently, it's something they played on set a whole lot, and they bonded over it, so they did it for the panel.
That's a fun game.
The Suicide Squad cast also did a game, which I thought was cool.
They did, yeah, it was cool.
They have some good chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, Rocksteady's new game. We knew this was coming.
Yes, so real quick, a Suicide Squad game was in development before this game was, and that game got canceled. And whatever Rocksteady was working on then also got canceled, and they took over making a Suicide Squad game. And that was around 2016 when that movie was coming out. So this game's been in development for many years. I think they banked on that movie being really good, which is why I think they're doubly thankful they have a good one coming out next year to match with it. I'm really conflicted on this game because I was just playing a Rocksteady game earlier, They have great combat. The games look great. I'm really tired of fighting Superman, of Superman being bad. It's all the movies and Injustice and then this game, Superman's always the bad guy. And I'm like, can't he just be nice for once? Can he just be nice for once?
Can't he just be Superman?
Can't he just be Superman? And I do think all the Task Force X, I think all the character stuff's really good. I actually thought that scene with them in Deadshot was funny. Again, this is in the Arkham universe, but the Deadshot in Arkham Knight is white, and this one he's black.
Yeah,
that's fun.
So
that's fun.
They did say, this is the next Arkham story, next in the Arkham universe. It's got Harley Quinn, King Shark, Deadshot, and Captain Boomerang. This is a 4 co-op online multiplayer game. So
this game comes out in 2 years, maybe not even in 2 years, maybe in 3 years, because this was a trailer and saying it's coming in 2022. I don't know enough about the game to really be sold on it. If it is, again, like another type of Arkham game, but if it's like Gotham Knights but with bad guys, cool, that's great. There was a rumor that this was not just a 4-player game, this was more like an Ultimate Alliance game with a lot of villains, and if that's not the case, I'm way less interested. King Shark's really cool, but like, I don't know if I want to play an entire game as King Shark.
So they did say that this game can be played single player only, and you can just level up your characters.
It's like Avengers. It's like Avengers. Yeah. In that sense, not necessarily in gameplay, but like in that sense, it's you can have friends hop in with you, or you can play it all by yourself. It's whatever. And you can do that at any point throughout the whole game. Which is nice. I think that is actually different from Avengers. They were very specific about that point. It sounds like any part can be multiplayer, not just the parts they designated that way. It sounds like the whole game, that's the option, which is different. I thought that the moment where Boomerang asks who's the alpha target and they all like point at Superman really in awe and afraid was cute. But it's hard for me to... I very much echo what Ryan's saying. It's hard for me to be sold on this. It's just not only is it not necessarily what I wanted from the studio that made the Arkham games, it just doesn't feel like, not that I needed the same tone or anything like that, it just doesn't feel like the kind of thing that's getting me excited like those did. I'm not sold on this premise like I was sold on Arkham Asylum from the first trailer,
the Suicide Squad
or
movie.
Arkham City from the first trailer, or Arkham Knight from the first trailer.
I am happy that the tone isn't an Arkham Knight dark grim. I do like that it is a little more funny. And again, they do have a comedy writer who wrote this game. I hate when they release trailers for games that are so far away, because like I'm gonna forget about this game for an entire year, and it could be different in a year. You know what I mean? Like, also, it's a bummer that everything around the trailer after that was not done. I don't think was done well. It didn't do enough to tell me about the game to get me into it, and it did. I don't think Will Arnett's bits working in with it worked. I think they had him there to try and make the game seem more real quick. We didn't talk about this with Gotham Knights, but Batman's dead in Gotham Knights, and the Court of Owls are the villains. So this is an entirely new new story where, if we've all read Court of Owls, that is so Bruce Wayne centric, it's insane. So the fact that Bruce Wayne is ripped from that story makes they could do anything, and makes me so excited for the future of what that game is. This Suicide Squad, I was like, cool, I'm going to be fighting the Justice League. Like, I don't know if I just want to do that. Like, I'm sure it could be fun, but like, show me what it is. The trailer's cute. The trailer's cute.
It's a cinematic trailer. It's a cinematic trailer for a game that doesn't have any gameplay to it. So it's like, okay, that seems cool, but I do agree with Ryan. I don't want to kill Superman anymore. I don't want to fight Superman anymore. I want to be Superman and save people. I don't want to keep beating him down for being like an oppressor or brain controller or whatever. Just let Superman be Superman, for crying out loud.
Games are too hard to make because no one's read a Superman comic, apparently.
I want to say the Lego games did the best Superman.
I mean, like, I know it's just a cinematic trailer, but I go back to Rocksteady's own Arkham series, and I'm like, the first time I saw the cinematic trailer for each of those games, I was sold. I was sold on the game. I was sold on the premise.
Every single one of those games I knew I had to own in one way, shape, or form.
Say no place for a hero, and they're like all black and white and red. I'm like, oh my god, yes, Batman. I'm like, yeah, Harley's cool. King Shark is played by Samoa Joe, who's a wrestler, which is that's great casting. That's awesome. I'm like, I like all these characters, but I'm just like, I don't know if this is what I want.
You know what? I pinned it down even more. It's that this isn't even a cinematic trailer. It's a cinematic teaser.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's no real pageantry to it. You're not showing me much of the dynamic of even kind of what I might see in the game.
That's true.
Even outside of it not being gameplay, I'm not seeing what this world is going to be like. I'm not really seeing what this is going to feel like.
Yeah.
I'm just being shown a scene.
Yeah.
And I believe in Rocksteady. Like, again, they've made 3 incredible Batman games. So, like, I'm sure the combat's going to be great. I'm just curious, like, what is the day-to-day of that game going to be playing like? Because you can't fight Superman the entire time. You got to build up. So I'm curious, like, are you just fighting a bunch of goons? Are you fighting, like, Justice League goons?
Justice League, yeah.
But, like,
we're fighting Brainiac. Brainiac things.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's true, yeah. So Brainiac's the guy who takes over? That's not as... Okay. Whatever.
Could be
I'll take
Starro. Could be Brainiac or Starro. Pick one.
Give me 2 Starro Suicide Squad things? Baby, I'll take it.
It looks all right. I don't think it should be connected to... I don't think it should be connected to Arkham.
For real, these games, like, they'd have to mess with some of the Gotham Knights stuff, but these totally should be switched. This doesn't feel like the Arkham universe that Gotham Knights one so does, even though it's not. It's weird.
Yeah, there's just no reason. Like, you could just make a new
This
world.
doesn't feel like...
You don't have to make it
I
connected to
just
Arkham
played
universe.
Harley Quinn. I just played Harley Quinn in Arkham Knight. That does not seem like the same character.
Yeah. All right. Then the final panel of the day was Matt Reeves talking about the Batman. I love Matt Reeves. He needs to talk about this movie all the time.
He came in like the anti-Zack Snyder.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, man. Yeah, that dude just seems to get Batman. Like, that dude reads comics. Like, even if you don't read comics, like, he seems to get what the character's cool, like, what's cool about the character. Guys, that trailer, that's the real deal.
To me,
that's the real deal.
To me, that made the event for me.
Yeah.
That's 25 to 30% of the movie. Holy shit.
Right.
And they're still casting new characters. Like, some kid just got casted today.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like,
it's so funny to me how much of the Snyder Cut trailer we saw and then this. And I'm like,
wow,
this isn't even nearly
done
as much as that. And I'm like, this is so incredible.
That suit looks great.
It does.
Yeah.
When he just like grabs the dude and just wails on him. Holy crap.
Okay. Were you guys thinking he was going to say, I'm Batman? Because I was not expecting him to say, I'm Vengeance.
I mean, I think we figured it was going to be on Batman, but on Vengeance is way better.
Yeah.
The thing that's so striking and so cool about that moment is, so Batman grabs a dude and he beats the shit out of him and he pauses and then he continues. And I'm like, okay, you are young and unhinged and you're going to learn to be a better Batman. This is like, oh my God. Thinking, again, going to Zack Snyder, like, you start your Batman with The Dark Knight Returns. That's at the end of his career. This is so good. This is Batman year 2. He's still fresh. You get this is like 7 if it was a superhero movie. Like the Riddler, bro. I didn't know that was the Riddler until somebody told me online. Like with the goggles. Did you guys know that was Colin Farrell as the Penguin? That is the most insane practical effects I've maybe ever seen on a person.
I need to rewatch that trailer because
Just look up a picture of Colin Farrell Penguin. And it's unrecognizable.
And they talk about it. He's not the Penguin. He doesn't like being called the Penguin. He's just Oz.
Yeah.
Yes, that it was one of the things he said that I really like. That it's like this is an Oswald Cobblepot before he becomes the Penguin. This is him pretty much being Oswald.
Yeah, you see Selena still just wearing just like a black ski mask when she robs. Yo guys, if this is the start of some Batcat shit, oh baby, I love this so much.
No, so I actually figured out it was the Riddler once we got like the question marks for the 2020. I'm like, who else uses question marks? That has to be the Riddler.
Yeah.
Guys, Jeffrey Wright looks so damn good
As Gordon. He's got that mustache.
I
love that mustache.
A fourth of the movie. That's like, this is all the beginning stuff of the movie. It looks like, and I'm like, yeah, that is not Colin Farrell. You're lying to me.
Yeah.
That is so good. Yeah, dude, like, this is like they're taking it seriously. Like, it's honestly, this is the perfect Batman movie for me. It's between the Chris Nolan and the crazy comic stuff. It's the perfect mix in between. You can still have all that crazy realistic crime stuff, but also be a little bit crazy. I think that's
God, you're right. That makeup is insane.
This might be my favorite Batman suit for real. Like, it just looks so good. I just love it so much.
Right now, it's my favorite live action suit.
Yeah. Okay. Live action. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta point out that Megan appreciated that when Robert Pattinson isn't wearing the cowl, he's got the dark eyeshadow makeup.
Mhm.
It feels sincere. It feels real.
There's a moment in Batman Returns where Batman so he has the black eyeliner and then it cuts back and he doesn't have the eyeliner and then he rips it off and it's so blatant. And it makes me
so
mad
clear.
So every time
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, what?
I'm so glad that they're
easy.
committing to the fact that like it's there. That's what he does.
We're getting our emo Batman. We're getting our real emo Batman.
I really appreciate that Matt Reeves explained that it's not going to be an origin story. However, there are going to be elements of it by Bruce investigating the corruption in Gotham and then questioning how the Waynes might have been involved. And I'm all about that. That's a good take to have him like revisit his parents, but not be like hitting
the origin of Batman that you've seen every freaking movie that's ever come out about him.
Yeah. I think that's really awesome that's going to be part of the take. I really liked everything he had to say about the Gotham PD series for HBO Max. That is year 1. And it's going to be very focused on the police department. And he said specifically on one cop and that the whole thing is generational about the corruption in Gotham and that it's essentially a battle for his soul. And I'm going to tell you right now, if that one cop is Bullock, I'm going to be so happy.
Yeah, I'm very excited. This looks like it might be my favorite Batman movie. I'm stoked. Can't wait. Robert Pattinson looks great.
He does.
The ears look so good.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for him.
Like the old school cowl that goes like down, or sorry, the cape.
Collar.
The cape goes like up and there, and it shadows his neck so he can move his neck. That is so brilliant. It looks so good and so gothic. I'm such a fan, you guys.
All right, that's it. That's DC FanDome. All in all, I'm really excited for a lot of this stuff. The only thing I wasn't interested in was the Snyder Cut. Everything else, I was like, hell yeah, give it to me.
I came in mixed on the game from Rocksteady as well.
It's just,
that's fair.
That
too
Snyder
early.
Cut were like both my kind of like you didn't meet my expectations, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I'm more excited for Gotham Knights and for the Batman.
Yeah, give me all those movies though.
Suicide Squad still like blew me out of the water.
Oh yeah, Suicide Squad too.
The way they did the announcement with the visuals of them in their outfits, and we were seeing them, and it's like this is them, they're this, and I'm like, dang, I'm so man, woo.
Yeah. All right, so Ryan, it's your book club.
It's me.
Do it.
Hey guys, as you know, we all like Batman, and somewhat recently, Tom King left a little early his Batman run, and I never wanted to like put you guys through like a deep dive or anything. Sparks did it to himself, which I super appreciate. But I just wanted to highlight some of my favorite issues from this almost 90 issue run, including the annuals and stuff, of the most human Batman has ever been in a comic book. This is the when you think of Batman, there's an event happening right now, Death Metal, where the point of that is a multiverse of dark, evil Batman have taken over our universe, right? That is the most big concept, big bombastic thing you can think of that centers around a human being, right? I sometimes want the human being to act like a human being. Batman is often a god while also being human. He doesn't feel like a human a lot of the times. This is the most human I've ever felt him in a run. I think also he channels a lot of Alan Moore into some of these specific issues, which work and don't work. But I think for the most part, I think these issues are all pretty dope, and I just like to get your opinion on them. I got this Batman Brave in the Mold signed by Mitch Gerrits at Comic-Con, the Swamp Thing issue.
Shall we go issue by issue?
Absolutely. Which is the first issue? Is it
23?
23? Yeah. So guys, issue 23, Swamp Thing Batman have a crossover. I love it.
I like this. I like this issue a lot.
I just love how when Swamp Thing just like pops up and Gordon's just like, "The fuck are you?" And then he's like, "Oh yeah, Batman's right behind you." And he's like, "Of course he is."
Many members of the Justice League appear to Batman and Gordon in this series, and Gordon's always just like for Swamp Thing, a giant Swamp Thing just appears behind him. And he's like, takes off his glasses. Okay. So you guys know each other, right? Okay, cool. I'm gonna leave. Gordon is great. He always does that, like especially with the Wonder Woman we'll talk about later. This is the most Alan Moore comic written in the last 5 years. Maybe besides that Swamp Thing annual, which also I think you guys read. This is just a story about Swamp Thing's dad getting killed and the mystery behind it, and two different people's their grasp on humanity and the different ways they deal with it. And you think Swamp Thing would be
death,
and you think Swamp Thing would be less emotional than he is. You think Batman would be less emotional, but they both end up. Oh, don't do that, Astra. They both end up and stuff. I love this issue specifically because this is the way I like Swamp Thing written, with the ellipses, where he's very deep in thought all the time. He's still not connected to his humanity. He has to think about everything he says, right? Until the end, where he just, much like a person would, he rages out because his father's dead. And that is so powerful, and that's so beautiful, especially with Bruce at the end, because Bruce had something with Swamp Thing where like, Swamp Thing says dust to dust isn't a real thing, right? Life changes. Right. And then at the end, Swamp Thing's like, oh, maybe not. And Batman's like, wait a minute, so are my parents not? Are they not?
Tell me my parents are falling back into life.
Yeah, he's basically like, so are my parents okay, Swamp Thing? And then Swamp Thing just leaves. Mm-hmm. That is the most Alan Moore shit of like,
he's shouting coward at him.
I love it so much. It doesn't give you an ending. It ends on a sad note. We don't know. I guess we know why his father was killed by the headhunter, just because the headhunter knew superheroes. Yep, that's the only reason he was killed, so this guy can get close to superheroes. And Swamp Thing kills him, and Batman's pissed about it. Mitch Gerads is a great artist. I think the 9-panel layout works really well for this. Especially there's one double panel spread of Swamp Thing on a couch that I think is beautiful, and he creates his own little teapot and drinks it. I think this is just fantastic.
I also love it's a 1-page joke, but it's Swamp Thing and Batman in the car, and he's like, "Why do you need a car?
Why do you need a body?"
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a bunch of pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then he's just like, huh.
I lost all my pictures. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think this is again, I picked this one because this is like, I think, a fun little standout issue. You don't need to read any of the rest of the book.
Do you mind glance through mine? Are you good?
That's a fun. Okay, so yeah, there's one part where so this headhunter, I've hunted him before. He runs, he hides. This will not be easy. He's in the museum. The grass told me. And Batman's like, I'll get my car.
Yep.
The world's greatest detective beat by grass. Just little moments like that I really like.
Yeah.
And then
24.
24.
Yes, Date Night's Last Rites. This is probably my favorite, honestly, my favorite issue. Wait, I'm sorry. No. Issue 24 is not the annual. They have similar things. 24 is the proposal. Sorry, they're all
right.
Yeah, it's just Batman talking to Gotham Girl, and you guys don't know who Gotham Girl is unless you read the last stuff. She's a superhero. That's all you got to know. And she was training with Batman. That's all you got to know. I think I really enjoy the conversation they have together. I think, again, these are conversations that don't often happen in Batman comics. We're just two people talking about Batman's happiness. And like, Batman, why can't you be happy? Oh, because I'm Batman. I can't be happy. Well, why not? Like, well, are you ever scared? No, I can't be scared, because if I'm scared, then I'm insane. But I don't want to be insane, so I'm not scared. And it's just Batman fighting being Batman. This entire run is him fighting being Batman. And Gotham Girls is like, why can't you just be happy? Why do you want to fail? And I just think it's a really sweet, beautiful conversation. Interspliced with Batman chasing Catwoman, who's going to propose to her. I just think it's a really nice conversation, this issue.
Anybody else? Ben?
No, because I was a little confused at who Claire was, and then it's like, I was like, okay, but they're close.
Everything you need to know. She has powers. If she uses her powers, she dies. My family's dead. Help me, Batman. That's all you got to know.
Yeah.
He gave you everything you need.
But the fact that Batman's like, oh, I can't be happy, and her challenging is like, why? Just that doesn't make any sense. Like Claire calling out Bruce on his own bullshit, and then I love that when he goes to Selena and he's like, "Hey, you remember that diamond that stole the first time when we met on the boat?" And also another thing that I love how both Bruce and Selena can't agree on when it was the first time they met, because Selena says, "Oh, we met on the street," and Bruce is like, "No, we met on a boat first." But
which we get into the annual, which I like.
Yeah. But he brings up the diamond that she stole, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know the one that you stole?" She's like, "Yeah. Well, I bought it, and I've had it for years. I think I've always known." And then he drops down and says, "I love you, marry me." I was like, "Well, that's really good."
This is
the art with the bat signal, the bat signal in the back, and the rain just pouring down on him. It's just so good.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the most beautiful Batman runs, because every art. This is David Finch. That was Mitch Gerads on the Swamp Thing. You got Joelle Jones on the Catwoman. You got Mikhail Janin on the Thomas Wayne stuff. All these issues were so gorgeous. Big fan of the art. There's a couple things from this conversation that I don't often see in Batman comics that I really like. It's like, what's normal? You know, not saving people, just living your life, right? Do you like your life? It doesn't matter what I like. Well, do you like being the kind of person who says they don't like their life? It just seems like that. No one ever challenges Batman in that way. And it's just like this teenage girl who's a superhero now, like, well, Batman, I'm a hero and I feel kind of happy. Why can't you be happy? It's just a nice thing that I wish more Batman artists or Batman writers would explore. Because, hey, man, that dude's a dude. He's not Superman. He's a dude. He gets backaches.
He gets backaches?
He gets backaches. Oh, does he, Mr. Bane?
You, Batman.
I like this issue a lot. It obviously stands out more in the entire run of things for sure. But it's a solidly well built up issue, I think. Yeah. Especially for introducing the concept of him and Selina getting together.
Yes.
Brandon?
What? Me?
Yeah. Thoughts?
Oh no. I like this episode fine enough. Just for me, it's just like, this is definitely a more human story, and I'm into the story. It's just, it's hard for me to read because it doesn't feel like these people are talking like people. But ultimately, it's a good story, and I liked where it ended.
Cool. Yeah, I won't disagree. Like, sometimes he doesn't talk like people, but also, Tom King definitely writes more poetic than a lot of other people do, and that is to Sparks' boy detrimental at some points. But I'd rather someone take the risks and fail than just write dialogue. You know what I mean?
I will say more often than not, I think Batman still sounds like Batman because Batman doesn't talk like people.
Yes, he's more Rorschach. Yeah,
but I can agree about other characters.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I want to say it was in the first one. We see Kite Man.
Hell yeah!
And then
something, yeah.
Because Kite Man's flying around, he goes Kite Man, then Batman drops on and goes Batman.
I don't want to die.
Kite Man has such
an arc,
good usage and an arc throughout.
You can thank this run for making Kite Man possible in Harley Quinn, because without
Harley,
this is where Kite Man got famous and got this is because of Tom King. Yeah.
Oh wow. Good.
Kite Man was nothing before this book. I mean, he existed, but nobody cared.
Yeah.
You were nothing before me, Kite Man.
Kite Man, you just fly. So from 24, let's just go directly to the annual, because that is technically the next thing that did come out. And it kind of ties directly to dialogue from 24. Date Night's Last Rites.
This was actually the second annual. The first annual came after 24.
Second annual, yes. Sorry. No, you're right. There's a lot of annuals, This Lee Weeks, I forgot to mention Lee Weeks. Lee Weeks might be the best comic artist on the planet right now. This book is so gorgeous. Lee Weeks draws such beautiful people, and the physicality of people, it only gets better and better as he draws more Batman. I found this issue so fun, and just going through the history of Batman and Selina, also showing a fake future or an alternate future, which deals with some Helena stuff, which is really cool. I just thought this was really, really sweet, and I really like Selina's drive to want to make Batman better. I think that's a really noble kind of goal. And I just think it's two broken people finding each other. I find that really, really sweet.
I really like this one. This is my favorite. Alfred.
Cool.
Alfred is why this is my favorite.
Yes.
Because there's some really good Alfred stuff in this.
Oh my god! When I saw this page, the next page, this floored me. I love it. It is so gorgeous.
The spread where they're on the roof in the rain.
Lee Weeks draws just the most insane things. That dude is so talented.
When Alfred's just like, if she leaves another mouse, can you ask her to leave some money to feed it?
Yeah.
I will say that I think one of the characters I think Tom King writes best is Alfred in this Batman.
Yeah, his sassy Alfred is the best.
I think Alfred is written extremely well throughout. Emma got caught.
She is all caught up in all my cords.
Oh no.
Oh no, Emma.
Emma, why?
Sorry. I really, really enjoy this one. I think it works extremely well. It's just a one-shot portrait of Batman and Catwoman and their relationship.
I love when Selina is taking she takes the pearl from the safe, right? And they have that conversation like my parents died. Everyone knows your parents died. And she knows he's Batman. So when he's chasing her, and she's like, I called the cops on myself because I'm such a nice person. And it's been really funny when I jump out this window and Bruce Wayne follows me, Batman? And he's like, oh my God, Selina. And he's about to jump out a window with all these cops. And I'm like, that's good. That's a good moment. I think all the stuff just with him is super sweet. And especially that ending stuff where Batman has dementia. That is a dude who has memorized every single thing on the planet, and this is a dude who starts to forget the simple things like turning off lights. That was so sad. And like if you have family members who get old, man, like Batman is not someone who deals with that. Yeah, and especially like some of the other issues I read, man, like oh man, yeah. I think this is a standout issue.
One of the parts I loved about the annual specifically, was that, I mean, it was their first date, and I would assume their first kiss. But then when you get to old Bruce and old Selina in the doctor's office, and they're bickering, and it's like they're still bickering on how they first met, and just her and Selina talking to Helena, seeing Helena for the first time, or for me the first time in a while, and that just the last page with that adorable little kitten and the note on the collar just broke my freaking heart.
The first time I read that, I cried.
From the first kiss to the last is very, very sweet.
Yeah, and then she's just with the little kitty, like that straight up made me cry the first time I read that.
Yeah. Well, she's sitting in the car, and then she looks down and she hears a little meow.
Yeah, it's very nice because it's just a few pages of a very nice whatever happened to the man tomorrow ending moment for Bruce and Selina, which is just a nice little thing to imagine, and I'm glad we get that.
I really like for the last thing of this book, I really like the when Helena's like, I went to talk to Zatanna, and like, there's just nothing we can do. It's his time. Like, he's a human being. And Selina's like, listen, I am your mother. I am his wife. I completely understand that you have to go. Like when she says she has to go, and I'm like, oh man, that's so good. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So, Date Night's the next one after this, right?
Yes. Issue 37. I kind of wish, I totally understand, because, we can only do so much for this book club. I kind of wish we'd done issue 36, because I really like issue 36 as lead-in, which is Clark and Bruce are both being talked to by Lois and Selina, respectively, about how one needs to call the other to congratulate Bruce on the engagement, to talk about, hey, I want to invite you in celebrating this. Depending on which one you're talking to, and the two of them like talking through how basically each of them thinks the other is just a better man than he is, and it's hard for them to connect with each other because of it, which is a really nice little issue.
I love their little like friendly rivalry.
Yeah,
it is so fun. I just want a Super Friends miniseries of just them hanging out as friends, because this is my second favorite issue. All these are my favorite issues of the run. I love all these books so much, but like this, oh my god, eat the dog, Bruce! Like I'm gonna kick so many trees, and he's like, oh, I kicked a tree once, and I felt so bad, I planted a bunch more. I'm like, just the way Tom King writes these two interacting together is so fun. Especially with Selina, like, hey, so they go to this fair and you have to dress up as superheroes, right? And they just go in regular clothes. So they realize, okay, we're going to have to switch outfits. Yeah. Selina's like, listen, we came all the way out here. Are you really going to tell me, my beautiful, loving fiance, that you're not going to do anything you want for me? And he's like, no, I'm not wearing Superman's suit. Next scene, he's wearing Superman's suit.
Yeah. Like, no, I just love it how when they give it to, like, when Clark gives it, he's like, oh, the S stands for hope. The bat stands for a bat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess that. Yeah. I really like it feels like Clark is like Smallville Clark in this.
Yeah.
Like
he's still wearing the glasses over the cowl.
That's I think that is so cute. I love it so much. This scene where they're in the love boat, and Clark alone is like, wow.
Real quickly, guys. I'll be back 5 minutes. Keep going.
No problem.
Okay.
The scene, Clark and Lois are like, oh, this is so sweet. And then the next scene, it's Batman and Selina just going hard on each other, making out. I'm like,
making out. Just going at like two horny teenagers in a parking lot.
Yeah. I think, again, this is a beautifully drawn issue. And like the way, is this also Lee Weeks? Who is this? Is this Mikhail Janin? Look it up, please.
I'm not sure if it says.
I think it's Mikhail Janin. The way that he draws Bruce Wayne, where his like beady eyes. And like I love the way he draws these characters, and like Selina and Lois are they're so beautiful, and like they're drunken talk about like, oh, I'm too young to get married, and like, what do you see in him? He's so Batman. Like, yeah, but once you get to know him, he's still Batman. And like all that stuff is so charming.
Or how they're like passing a flask, and that question guy comes and like takes some.
Yeah.
I want to say it was because I had to keep reminding myself that Lois is dressed up as Catwoman and Selena is dressed up as Lois's dress. And that's another thing. I liked when they're switching out of it, and then like Selena sings, "Is like, don't worry, it stretches." She's like, "It's better."
Better. I'm not a superhero.
Right.
The question.
The question steals it, and then like Bruce throws a baseball, knocks him out, and then later on, Selena's like, "Hey, this is the wallet from the mugger who took the thing," and she's like, "Oh, you're so bad," and she's like, "I know, right?"
Yeah. I love
talk is just freaking hilarious. I love it.
Yeah, the math, because both Bruce and Clark are very smart people. So when the question guy's getting away, he's like, "All right, so it's gonna be 6 feet, 3 inches that way. Do it at a degree over there, and 3, 2, 1, throw." And it's like a team up. Man, the end with the bickering between like, can Superman throw a ball past Batman?
Essentially, can he strike out Batman?
It is so good. It is so wholesome fun. And the final scene where Lois and Selena are like jumping in the air for joy because Batman hit it, and Clark's like, "What?" This is the type of story that I just don't get in regular Batman books. No. I don't know if I've ever seen a double date Batman issue in my entire life. Right?
No, it's just very cute and well imagined.
It's so fun and wholesome, and it's in between all this dark shit that's happening. Like you can have all of it happening at once. I love it.
And if you like this issue, I highly encourage checking out. There is an issue in the arc called Nightmares that it revisits the relationship essentially between Lois and Selena. That is really good. You know which one I'm talking about, which is the Bachelorette Party.
Yeah.
That's a really good, kind of spiritual follow-up to this.
Again, there were so many ones that I wanted to pick, man.
No, I get you.
Making this too many.
I'm just recommending to Ben specifically because he enjoyed this as much as he did.
Yeah, this bit specifically, this look is so good.
Yeah.
I love that Bruce Wayne in the Superman look is going, no. He looks so good.
Yeah.
And then after this, it's 73, 74, right?
No, it's
39.
39 and 40.
Ben, did you like the fantasy stuff in this one?
Oh, I loved it.
Real quick, I liked it. Before we move on, Brandon, any thoughts on the date night one?
No more than I already shared.
Okay. And 39 and 40, yeah.
Yeah, so I love it when Jim Gordon...
man.
No, so I love it when Jim Gordon's rushing him. He's like, "How many damn memos do I have to send? Only I get to touch the signal. Whoever's up there, I'm going to murder him."
Oh, hello,
Miss Diana standing right there.
Miss Woman, Wonder Woman. Again, Jim meeting with the Justice League, and he's just like, "I'm not used to this. This is still weird to me."
And then, of course, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I need to talk to Batman." And then Batman just, flies up. He's like, "You could just use the communicator." She's like, "This is more fun."
I love the way Tom King writes Wonder Woman. He writes her with a almost joking misogyny against men, or "Wow, you boys look so lame when you're soldiers. You should leave all the fighting to the women." I'm like, that is exactly what a douchebag man would say to a girl, and I love that. Wonder Woman is kind of she's like, "I'm an Amazon baby, F men." I'm like, that's a tough lady. I appreciate you. The Gentleman. He guards this place. The horde is everlasting, you guys. 1 second is a day. So anytime you're in this parallel world, 1 second's a day, and the Gentleman did not tell.
1 second in our world is a day in that world.
Yeah, this is some interstellar shit.
And you don't age.
No,
you don't age, but time does pass. But the Gentleman did not tell them that time works this way. So it turns out Batman and Wonder Woman are stuck in this place for 40 years together, just doing badass shit, killing demons, almost cheating.
So when Batman shows up in the armor, almost. They get close. They get really close, but Batman's like, "Nope, can't do it. And even Wonder Woman's like, "Yeah, I got Steve, can't do it." But when Batman is talking to Selena about how they offered the Gentleman a break, and he's taking them up on their offer, and he shows up in a full suit of armor with a sword, and she just looks at it.
Batman has never looked cooler. Are you kidding me? He's evil.
He's straight up that night.
He looks ridiculous.
She is, and then she's like, "You look ridiculous." Or that even before something she says, "I'm gonna tell Clark you said that." No, you won't.
Yeah. Even Wonder Woman's like, "No, you kind of look silly." Yeah.
And she even mentions his pointy ears throughout the whole book, throughout the whole time they're fighting.
She ends up liking him. You're stuck with someone for 40 years. The side story of Selena and the Gentleman is also really sweet because the Gentleman has a wife that he hasn't seen in a long time, and this is what I love about the issue 40 is Selena realizing what love is, not through Batman or Wonder Woman, it's through the Gentleman. And the Gentleman has been defending this other reality for thousands of years. And it might only be a couple months or a couple years in this world, but the Gentleman, that's eternity. So when he's talking to his wife, and Selena's like, bro, we gotta go. And she's like, can I please have like one more hour? And he's like, how long is that for them? And he's like, 50 years. And he's like, Jesus, please take as much time as you need. That is so heartbreaking because she realizes how much the Gentleman has gone through to save the world for his wife. Yeah. I think that shit is hot, you guys.
Yeah, because he's like, just give me an hour. She's like, how long? A decade? Do it. And then even with Bruce and Wonder and Diana, they're in that world and they're just like just when they're eating, like, oh yeah, like the scene where they almost kiss. I'm like, don't do it.
The end of 39, it's spicy.
Yes, but then they're just like, I miss my dog Ace, and then she's like, yeah, I miss
my kangaroo.
You have a kangaroo?
You never talked about your kangaroo. She's like, yeah, her name is Jumpa.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I also love them making fun of Superman in year 19. How many times does he have to say it? Up, and away. Up, and away.
Yeah, every time. Again, to show that both of these people are trapped in this alternate universe for 40 years, and they have the willpower not to cheat, because these are two of the hottest people on the planet. Also, they're superheroes. Like, the willpower alone is, like, good for both of them. Because I know, nobody...
Willpower is Green Lantern's thing. Thank you very much.
Sorry. Batman's just not horny enough, I guess.
I guess not.
Yeah. But man, the Gentleman, I believe, is like a new character, and like I just think the premise for this miniseries is really fun. The way to get Wonder Woman in, while also being like a fun fantasy story. And the end is really sweet because like Selena's like, "How? So what happened?" And he's like, "I was good, but not good enough." And she's like, "Just do better." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, Selena."
Yeah, I really liked it. It was a nice little different story.
Yeah. There's one. Let me see if I can find it.
He is in fact a new character created for this run.
Hell yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so there's a great scene because every time somebody meets Selena, they're like, "Oh, you're a criminal, right?" Because she is. But Wonder Woman's like, maybe I think everyone's wrong about you. I think maybe you are a hero, and I'm happy my friend has found love in you. And that's just a sweet little Wonder Woman moment. And in the date nights, in the Super Friends date episode, I was like, you picked the winner, bud. And Bruce is like, you did too, bud. I just think that's really sweet. Lots of cute, wholesome moments before we get to some the sad family shit.
Yeah, which is next.
73, 74.
Yes. And again, I wanted to pick 74 and 75 because spoilers, at the end of 74, it's Thomas who leaves the cave. It's not Batman. And Thomas is the new Batman in the city of Bane. And Professor Pig is the new commissioner. And all the villains,
No.
Sorry, Hugo Strange
is the commissioner. Sorry. Pig is a cop.
Yes, he's like leading.
He's a pig.
He's a pig. On the nose there. But I decided to pick 73 and 74 because I think the lead up, you would need more lead up for 74. But yeah, this is after Batman's lost. It tells you that you don't need more information than like Bane beat you. You lost, and I'm here. Don't worry, baby boy, my sweet baby boy Bruce. I'm here to save you. I'm here to reunite the family. This is not weird at all. Don't worry, nothing's crazy about this situation.
Nothing's crazy about me taking the dead body of your mom to this thing.
Yes. To a oh my god, I was about to say a Sarlacc pit. Oh my god, a Lazarus pit, a secret Lazarus pit that can revive you basically no matter what. Like it's the last bastion.
With a sacrifice.
With a sacrifice, yes. I will agree with you, Sparks. I don't think the music stuff with Thomas Wayne works, but I do think the conversations between Bruce and Thomas, I eat that shit up. I eat it up because this is a conversation that we've never had. What do you do when you have your Flashpoint Batman, who is Batman, and he doesn't want his son to be Batman? They're teaming up. Like, how does that work? And it turns out Thomas is a big, bad man, and he helps Bane to take down Batman because he just wants Bruce to be a little simple boy. He doesn't want him to be Batman anymore. He's also really jealous that it's like so many. Thomas is so effed up, you guys. I recommend reading the series just for him because that dude's
so. This is a good example of like what I was talking about in the larger sense of Tom King's run, where sometimes it gets a little too pretentious for its own good. Mm-hmm. The story they're referencing that he read to Bruce and that they tell in full in words, they visually showed and told the same story in an earlier issue where he's chasing a man who's shot at Nightwing, and when they do that,
KG Beast.
Yes, KG Beast. And in that issue, The context of it doesn't really line up very well, other than the sense that the story is inherently a Russian children's story, and KG Beast is Russian. Outside of that, it doesn't connect.
Yeah.
It doesn't really mean anything until it's referenced again here. And I'm like, this is where, like, yeah, that was cool, but it was pretentious to put it there in a sense. I don't like using that word, overusing the word pretentious, but it felt very like, I'm putting this here to make you think. And I'm like, but I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to think about this in connection to that.
Yeah.
But then when it came up here, I'm like, oh, now that story makes sense.
Yeah.
30 issues later.
Yeah.
The music, the music things were a hard hurdle for me to kind of, because I couldn't match the tone of what was being sung with the
I didn't like him singing Home on the Range. I didn't think it fit.
I agree. I 100% agree. I do the fight scenes. I think all the art and stuff is great, but him singing that specific song is odd. I mostly picked this issue for these issues for the conversation between the father and son. But man, yeah, like Thomas
again, like just touching on that, like it didn't feel like the song informed anything connecting to who Thomas is. It didn't feel resonant with who he is, what he's thinking, what he believes.
Okay, this was me extrapolating just now.
Sure.
Home on a Range with the deer and the buffalo play.
Where the deer and the antelope play.
Okay, home on a Range. Is Thomas now home, and he is the deer or the antelope that gets to do what he wants as Batman?
I mean, you can.
I'm just throwing it out there.
It's not impossible, but like it's on a level where like I don't think, and I tried to think about it, and I don't think it informs well enough.
No, I agree.
Especially not to be used more than once.
Yeah.
In these issues. Go ahead though.
No, I 100% agree with you. I do think the stuff where Bruce is like drugged up and he's like, "Where are we going?" And he's like, "Oh, that's the drugs. You'll remember soon. You're the world's greatest detective, right?" And he just keeps like harping on his son. He's like, "Oh," the Death in the Desert, who is Ra's al Ghul's personal like defense at this Lazarus pit, right? They keep showing up, and Bruce keeps he's asleep during these fights, and Bruce wakes up and is like, "Wait, how do they keep getting past me? I'm Batman." And he's like, "Yep, you're Batman, bud. You're the best Batman, all right." He keeps shitting on his son while also like trying to help him, and it's just like, man, Thomas is so bad, you guys. He's so gross. And like after this, he beats Batman up and he takes his spot because he thinks he's the better Batman. He'd rather leave his son for dead than let him achieve his dreams in a way. It's really messed up.
Well, he doesn't want his son to be Batman. He's like obsessed with that. Yeah. My son can't be Batman.
Yeah. So he'll take the place in order to do that, and he will work with Bane to systematically ruin his life. Because that's the point he makes. He's like, "Listen, Bruce, you're a super strong dude. I recognize that, but I had to beat you up mentally, physically, spiritually, every way I could to make sure you realize you shouldn't be Batman. I love you though," and that's the most effed up part because like this is his dad doing it. And then they get stuff with the mom, like wanting to resurrect the mom to make the perfect family. Like, you don't need to be Batman anymore. Look, we're both alive. Your trauma's gone. Trauma just disappears, right? That's how it works. Right. It's so messed up on a personal level. Again, nothing like this, maybe except Grant Morrison's RIP run, where Thomas Wayne came back to life, but it wasn't really Thomas Wayne.
Dr. Hurt.
It was Dr. Hurt. That shit reminded me a lot of this, and that Grant Morrison shit is the good shit.
I do really like two bits about this where Bruce is talking about how the reason that he wanted him to keep reading the stories, he's like, I was waiting for someone to come out. I wanted the story to end differently every time. I was holding out hope for that. And I really like that. And I also like when he's punched back into the coffin and it reveals that he buried her in the desert.
Where
and
you'll never find
his chance is lost. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I find, when Flashpoint happens and you get Thomas Wayne, that's super cool. Then you get the button and Thomas Wayne's like here. And I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about this, but the way Tom King goes about it, and it's like, yo, man, all the Waynes are just jacked up. They got so many issues. No matter what universe you're in, they're all jacked up. And I found it very cool, except for the music stuff. I do agree.
Yeah. What I do like is, by a part of this is that on some level, Bruce knows, you're my father, but you're not my father.
Yeah.
And if I bring back Martha, it is not your Martha.
Yeah.
This is not your family.
Yeah, there's this slight moment where I was like, what happened to Martha? And he's like, I can't talk about it because there's a whole Brian Azzarello miniseries you can read about that horrible stuff that Martha went through. I probably could have picked better issues for these last two, but like I really wanted to get the Bruce and Thomas stuff, like the center of it. Because that's what I think is really interesting about this run. I think this 85, 90 issues minus some issues, I think is a really strong build-up kind of thing that Hickman and Morrison do. Probably not to the strengths that they do, but I do think it is a one-of-a-kind Batman run that I appreciate for trying to do something different instead of just doing cookie-cutter Batman, because this is anything but cookie-cutter. Ben, any last things about Crazy Parents?
No, I was trying to. Oh man, the Crazy Parents thing was because I had a feeling like when Thomas was telling Bruce all those things about how he's like, yeah, you're my son, we're gonna be together. I'm like, something's up. So I don't like the way you're, because if this is because I was able to read that Flashpoint Batman miniseries, and I know what happened to Martha. Like, so I don't know why she's dead, but I was like, I know that Martha is messed up.
Yeah, you do.
Wait,
she dies at the end of the miniseries.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's been a long time, dude.
It's been like 10 years.
It's been a while since I last read it.
Just saying.
But the whole time, I mean, seeing Thomas and Bruce together, at first I'm like, oh, this is great. This is great father-son time. But then I was like, but Thomas Wayne is really messed up, like really messed up in the head. So especially when they started talking about the storybook about all those the animals getting stuck in the pit and eating each other, and the fox tricking the pig, I was like, there's some correlation here, and I don't like it. This is not going to end well for anyone. Whoever gets out of that pit, someone. I mean, now that I know that it's Thomas who got out of the pit, because I was really hoping Bruce was going to get out of the pit.
Me too.
No.
Yeah. And you had that next issue of like the setup of City of Bane issue 1. I think that's a dope issue. And it's just like it is the villain taking over the city thing in like a Arkham City-esque way, but it doesn't feel like post-apocalyptic, where like a lot of them kind of feel that way a lot of times. He's trying to have some order while still being the worst person on the planet.
There was the Forever Evil Arkham War, when Bane took over Gotham.
Oh yeah, was that at the same time?
That was the story of Forever Evil.
Oh, sorry, not Forever Evil, not the year of the villain or whatever.
Okay, no, gotcha. That was the year Forever Evil.
Where Bane becomes Batman for a bit. Yes, yep. I do remember that from New 52. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But one thing I did want to say about all the books that we read or all the issues that we read for this, it made me really want to start getting more into Tom King's Batman run, because I've always been interested in starting Tom King's Batman run. I just know there's a whole lot of books, and since they're all out in trades, I just have to hunt down those trades. Not a big problem. I like looking down. I like hunting down trades, but there's one of those things. Before this, I was like, oh yeah, someday it's gonna happen. After today, now it's like, oh no, I'm gonna find some Batman trades. I'm gonna find the Tom King Batman trades. If I could get the entire Tom King Batman run, or at least read it, and then once the Batcat stuff starts coming out, I'm good.
Yeah, I am still very excited about the Batcat Phantasm stuff for sure.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it, especially as follow up to this. I think that I just really appreciate whenever a writer, even if I don't like everything about it, when they clearly have like something they want to say with their run. You know, it's one of the reasons why the initial Rebirth stuff for Superman was so good. They really wanted to say something about who Superman was. It's not quite on this like extent of a journey that Bruce is supposed to go on with Tom King's run, but
it's a journey, all right.
But it's always nice when it's like that. I like the choices you made for sure.
All right, next week it's my turn. I don't know what I'm going to do. I had it, but I forgot it, so I'll announce it on social.
Hell yeah!
Other than that, next week we're going to be talking about Bill and Ted Face the Music, a proper review, guys, of a new movie.
It's like, excellent!
And hopefully New Mutants. We'll see. I'm still not convinced that movie's even coming out.
Oh my god, it's happening! Did you, real quick, I already told him, did you guys see any of the New Mutant spoilers that have recently come out?
No.
Okay, good. Just try to avoid it for a week.
I saw it.
Did you? Is it cool?
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I'm confused.
Me too. So try not to look it up, but there's a character.
You should know me by now. I avoid spoilers like the plague.
Yes, but it just happened to me on Twitter. Like, people are just retweeting it. But there's some stuff that's very exciting, maybe. I hopefully. I'm so excited for that movie if it's real.
All right. We're going to try and do this before I cut out again. We have our YouTube page. If you're watching this, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. We got a couple new subscribers this week, so welcome. We have another show, Fake Nerds Watch, on this channel, which we are currently going to go through Lovecraft Country. We will also do Umbrella Academy coming soon, and maybe The Boys. We'll talk about it.
Oh, we'll definitely do a season wrap discussion. It won't be immediate, but we will do a season 2 discussion on The Boys.
Oh, yeah.
We also have Basement Arcade, which you guys just put up the Avengers stuff.
Yes.
Good night, Mag.
Thanks, Mag.
Good night, Mag. Have a
Mag.
good night to you, too.
And party on, dude.
Party on, dude.
Yeah, because he said be excellent to each other.
I saw. So the Basement Arcade of the Avengers multiplayer and single player for the beta are up now.
Yeah,
More
man.
Basement
If you guys are curious about that Avengers game and you're not sold on it, watch one of the videos. Because I think a lot of us are more sold on it than we were before. So check it out.
And we also have our Fake Nerd Book Club, which we are currently going through Power Rangers. We didn't get Volume 2 and 3 recorded last week. Maybe this week. We'll see. You know, we have, lives are starting to pick up now, so it's a little tricky.
Yeah.
We also have a Patreon. Link in the description for our Patreon. If you're listening to this, our YouTube videos are in the link in the description. We have the 2 tiers on Patreon, the $5 tier and the $25 tier. Thank you to Joey Zahn for the $5 tier. We also have TeePublic, a lot of cool shirts, bread and butter, Victor Book Club, Victor Podcast, Suburban Proctologist. Want that shirt? That's all on our TeePublic page. Link in the description, or you can go to our website, www.fakenerdpodcast.com. I just put up a new article on that site. Check out links to everything we got going on. And we also still have our Fake Nerd Podcast masks, which are in the description below. Still got a couple, guys. They are running out. So get yours while they're hot. Let's beat this thing
right here. I know our audio listeners won't be able to see, but yeah, still got mine.
Yes, please. I went to see people today, and I'm very uncomfortable in social situations now. Wear your mask. Let me go outside.
Hey, don't go to restaurants. Just don't.
Save
Please.
Ryan. Don't go to restaurants.
Just don't go to
I mean,
restaurants.
go and pick up your food and then take it home.
DoorDash, Grubhub.
Yeah.
Don't be there.
We live in Southern California. We're in the middle of a heat wave. Don't go outside.
All those links are in the description below, so take a look. All right, guys. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to people who are watching this. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci for our interim music. If you're listening to this on the audio and you've listened to the theme song and our interim music, all great stuff. You can find him at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards. He also does a podcast called Suburban Proctologist. You can find that on iTunes. There's 9 episodes out now. Very funny. He does it all mostly by himself. You can find that at facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist Official or Instagram at Subproc Podcast. Thank you to Mike Matola. Mike, you've done 3 logos for us now. Fictor Podcast, Miscellaneous, Book Club. You're great. We love you. He got a crib. He built a crib. I thought he built it for himself.
Yeah.
I was like, Mike, are you pregnant?
I saw it too. I'm like, is your wife having a baby? What? Nope.
Baby Matola.
You can find him at Mike Matola. All right, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook for us all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BC McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Ben?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at BenMagnet27. It's really late right now, so I don't know if I'm going to write that article tonight, but it is going to come up hopefully before Wednesday or sooner. I don't know, but it will be up this week.
Sparkles?
You can find me going back to school at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty, and also hoping for the best for everyone suffering from the wildfires raging across our state, specifically in Brandon and I's home area.
Yes.
Michael Carls of the Downright Nerdy podcast wasn't on our Downright Annoyed movies because he was fighting fires on Saturday.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Ryan?
It's me. Today is the birthday of a man who has taught me before, better than any teacher I've ever learned, lessons of freedom, loyalty, connection. Kojima showed me another face of this world, and until my death, I owe him. Happy birthday, man of video game. Happy birthday, Hideo Kojima. You can find me at DJ Tony Snark.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio. If you're watching this, like and subscribe. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it. Until next week, guys, stay fake nerds.